in the beginning. It was just like, hey, Jig, man, that's thing too.
It annoys the fuck out of me that they say Chad died of drink, because that's not how he died. You can't die from sleep apnea and die from, like, come on.
Pimp C died in 2007. And why haven't we got a Pimp C documentary? Because there was a lot of strange details surrounding Pimp C. He was notorious for going on these radio stations and being a whistleblower about the industry.
There is an epidemic with the people sipping the cough syrup.
So Jay-Z just spoke about working with Pimp C on Big Pimpin', and he made it seem like they had a solid relationship. He painted the whole situation as respectful, saying it was mostly love between them, even if they had a few creative disagreements along the way.
Like that beat in the beginning. It was just like, hey, Jig, man, that's thing too fruity, man. He thought he made like his commercial, like, sellout record. He took some convincing. He did this song. We actually really.
So we're again with Jay-Z telling the story from his side, because a lot of people remember things very differently. There have been public reports over the years suggesting that he and Pimp C were never especially close. We'll get to that in a second. And this is what catches people's attention. Some critics have made similar claims before. After DMX passed away, some people felt Jay-Z described their relationship in a much more positive way than what had been said publicly in the past. DMX had openly accused Jay of getting in the way of his album release, while others argued their relationship was far more complicated than simple competition. Then, after DMX's passing, some fans felt Jay's comments painted them as being on much better terms than they remembered. Now, some people believe a similar situation is happening with Pimp C. But this time, Pimp's family and people close to him have publicly pushed back. They've said Pimp C wasn't a fan of Jay-Z, and some have claimed he may have known information that could have caused major problems if it had ever come out. Pimp C's wife, Chinara, has publicly said she does not believe he died from a lean overdose as officially reported, and Pimp C's mother has also publicly stated that she believes her son was poisoned. So what really happened to Pimp C? And why do so many people disagree about the story surrounding his relationship with Jay-Z? Let's get into it.
And if you gay, that's cool, but be gay and come on out and be that. Don't be in front of us and acting like a straight up G, and then you get over here and you let these boy bust up your back. Because, it gonna come to the light.
Chad Butler, better known as Pimp C, passed away nearly 20 years ago, and people are still debating exactly what happened on December 4th, when he was found dead in his room at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood. The date also happened to be Jay-Z's birthday, a detail that has often been pointed out by fans. The official ruling was that Pimp C died from the combined effects of prescription cough syrup and other medications. According to the coroner's findings, his death was ruled accidental. Officials said the combination of promethazine, codeine, and other factors contributed to respiratory depression. Even so, some people have continued to question the case because the complete autopsy report has not been publicly released. Instead, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office issued a public statement saying his death involved the effects of promethazine, codeine, along with other contributing factors that were not fully established. Another detail that keeps people talking is what Ed Winter, the assistant chief of the coroner's office at the time, reportedly said. He stated that the levels of promethazine and codeine found in Pimp C's system were elevated, but not necessarily high enough on their own to explain the death. That's where the debate grows even bigger. Pimp C's wife, Chinara, later publicly said she believed he had stopped using lean and other substances, adding that, to her knowledge, he was not drinking lean on the day he passed away.
Actually, me and Dad used to call that rehab. No, that was our rehab. That was a rehab. So I've always looked at it as, rehab. I've been rehabbing a long time. I barely.
Wait, smoking rehab?
That's what we call, we just gonna smoke. It annoys the out of me that they say Chad died of drink, because that's not how he died.
Now, here's another detail that some people point to when questioning the official timeline surrounding the lean story. Chinara publicly said that Pimp C was scheduled to meet with his probation officer the very next day.
He had to come back first thing in the morning because he had to go to parole. Get the hell out of here.
After his release from prison in 2005, Pimp C remained on parole until December 2009. Since he passed away in December 2007, he was still under parole supervision at the time. Because of that, it's reasonable that he may have had regular meetings with his parole officer. Supporters of alternative theories argue that if he was expecting an important meeting the following morning, it seems less likely that he would have intentionally spent the entire night drinking lean alone in his hotel room. That idea has led to speculation from some people that someone else may have been with Pimp C that night and could have played a role. However, no evidence publicly confirmed the claims. Pimp C's mother, Weslyn Mama West Monroe, publicly said she believed her son had been poisoned by someone who was at the Mondrian Hotel that night. She shared that belief with journalist Julia Beverly, who later wrote a biography about Pimp C. During an interview with Hot 107.9, Julia also said that Mama West remained completely convinced that her son's death was not an accident and believed foul play was involved.
Well, his mom believes he was, and she basically breaks down the reasons why she believes that. I couldn't really. There's some circumstantial evidence that might make it like that, but a lot of people have heard that he died of codeine overdose, which is not true at all. That was actually, the day he passed, or the day the results of the test went around. Now the coroner said, he did not overdose, and you found papers that said he did overdose. So that was just irresponsible media that came up. His mom thinks he was poisoned, and there was someone with him when he passed who was a very shady, strange character. So there was actually a person of interest, according to his mother, that she believed had something.
But here's where the story takes another unexpected turn. One of the people Pimp C was reportedly supposed to meet while he was in California was DJ Paul of 3 6 Mafia. Later, DJ Paul said he heard from Pimp's manager, Rick Martin, that the hotel room looked far different than he expected. He also claimed Pimp was found in a praying position with candles nearby and what he described as red stains on the walls. Rick Martin was the person who identified Pimp C's body, and according to DJ Paul's account, Martin described a shocking scene. DJ Paul recalled him saying he was lying down like he was praying, but there was blood around like he was shot. They thought he was shot in the head, but they didn't know what the hell happened because there was blood everywhere. They thought he was shot. He was kneeling down like he was praying, and the candles were all way burnt down, so they knew he'd probably been dead for a day or so because he always lit his candle to sleep. Those statements have circulated for years, although they have not been officially confirmed by investigators. Because of stories like that, many fans have questioned whether the official explanation tells the whole story. Some have even shared their own theories about the unusual details surrounding the room, but none of those ideas have been proven. The unanswered questions are a big reason the case continues to spark debate even after all these years. Long before social media became what it is today, Pimp C had built a reputation speaking his mind without holding back. He regularly gave outspoken interviews, challenged people in the music business, and made bold claims about what he believed was happening behind the scenes. That reputation made him one of the most talked about voices of hip-hop. Some fans believe his comments put him at odds with several influential figures, including Jay-Z. Jay has since described their relationship as respectful despite creative differences, but others have argued their disagreements went much deeper. Pimp C had publicly criticized Jay-Z on multiple occasions, including over comments involving Tupac, whom Pimp greatly respected. According to UGK's former manager, Dame Dash even offered a large payment to get Pimp C to appear on the track. The manager claimed that Pimp's response was that the money should instead be given to Tupac's mother, showing just how strongly he stood by his beliefs.
I called them instantly because I knew y'all niggas at house. Right. I was like, yo, I'm excited. Man, this is it. Rockfellas is shit. Take the ass. I called Pimp and these niggas fight. So I calmed them down and when Pimp locked in, he was like, wait a minute, Rockefeller. Ain't that where Jay-Z at? I was like, yeah. And I didn't get the connection. I was like, he was like, tell him to take that check over to Tupac mama for stealing our Tupac. And I'm like, what?
I put him on that spotlight, boy. he went, once I let him hear Tupac, he went on this mission for him.
And while Pimp C did eventually agree to appear on Big Pimpin', that didn't necessarily mean he and Jay-Z became close friends. People who were around the situation have described the collaboration as business rather than a personal bond. The tension was reportedly real, and Bun B has said it took some serious reverse psychology just to get Pimp C to even consider doing the collaboration in the first place. Even after the song became a huge success, Pimp C reportedly wasn't especially impressed. To him, it was simply business, nothing more.
Paid to be on Big. We didn't have that relationship. And to be honest, I think people would have accepted the Jay-Z verse to be of equal value to him. So let's just break this bread and be done with it. Right. And to be honest, Pimp and Jay didn't really have a relationship in that sense. There was a lot of mutual respect, but Whole and I were always closer. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting a feature. You know what I'm saying? But no, it was really just about, like, we worked very hard to get where we are. We're successful now for being purely who we have always said we were, riding dirty. Most critically acclaimed album we ever released, gold album, not one music video. You know what I'm saying? And to get to that point and to possibly in his mind throw it all away, because this dude want to pay you some money to do a verse on a beat that you would never rap to. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like a lot. It took a lot to kind of bring it back around to the idea of being a part of it, to the point where I just like, we're in college, like, don't do it. We ain't gonna do it. I'm just telling you, you don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? All right, Pee-wee, and I'm gonna do it. I mean, he was glad it worked out, but Big Pimpin' was not like in his top 10 UG songs. Like,
He didn't even want to do another one.
On top of all that, there have also been rumors over the years about Pimp C and Beyonce before her relationship with Jay-Z. There were even unverified claims from some people in the industry that Pimp C had a private recording involving Beyonce and was threatening to release it. However, none of those claims have been substantiated, and there is no public evidence confirming that story. Some fans believe the bigger issue wasn't personal at all, but Pimp C's outspoken views about the music business. He frequently criticized parts of the industry and spoke up for independent and smaller artists, arguing they deserved better treatment and a fair share of the money they helped generate. Supporters of that view say his willingness to challenge powerful industry practices made him a controversial figure, drawing comparisons to other artists, such as Prince, who also publicly criticized record labels and the way the music business operated.
Radio's been killed. Every playlist is the same all over the country. It wasn't like that back then. You could fly on an airplane, go to different places. In every city you went to, they had a different song on the show heard anywhere else. And when you look at the charts and looked at the different regions and saw what records was hot in the different regions, it'd be different records a lot of times than one depending on what's hot in that region. When you two companies bought up all the radio stations and started controlling all the playlists and started putting handcuffs and braces on DJs, they stopped all that. So everywhere you go, you hear the same record playing, and they make them play it all day long. You might catch something in the mix show, but it's only a few hours in the day to be able to play the records. So the records you catching in the mix show is the records that the majors is trying to break. The independent dudes don't never get on play no more. So man, you know.
And then Pimp C took things a step further by publicly talking about the idea of artists organizing and having a stronger collective voice. He believed musicians should have more leverage when dealing with the business side of the industry. Supporters of that idea argue that greater unity among artists could shift the balance of power and help them negotiate for fairer treatment and better opportunities.
I'm just trying to bring some more unity into this rap thing and squash out the BS, you know what I'm talking about, all the beef. If it ain't about no money, man, it ain't about nothing. So what we trying to do is all come together and unionize at some stage in the game and stop the record company people from taking advantage of us. But that's really what's going on. They laugh at us when we go to war with each other. It ain't about no people. And as long as we going to war, they gonna run the South and run the industry. So
and that's exactly why so many people believe Pimp C stood out. He wasn't afraid to challenge the way parts of the music industry operated, or speak up for artists he felt weren't getting a fair deal. Now, was Jay-Z directly involved in Pimp C's death? There's no public evidence proving that, and it wouldn't be fair to claim otherwise. What is clear is that the two men were viewed very differently by many fans. Pimp C built a reputation for openly criticizing parts of the industry, while Jay-Z became one of its biggest and most successful figures. That contrast continues to spark debate to the day. What do you think about everything we've covered? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with someone who follows hip-hop history, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
That was the first time I experienced what we talking about rappers, athletes deal with now when you diss by somebody you thought was cool.
So they leave out for a couple of minutes and Pimp comes in and he's dying laughing. And we're like, what's wrong? He's like, yo, Matt, just told me don't fuck his daughter, man, please.
I tell you, there was a famous R&B chick. There was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, Pimp, he used to be in the studio. And every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage.
Mace just lit things up with a wild claim about that alleged Pimp C and Beyonce tape, and now people are looking at Jay-Z sideways because of it. He's basically hinting this could be the real reason there's tension, like something deeper has been sitting under the surface this whole time. This rumor about Pimp C and Beyonce refused to fade out, and it's not just random blogs pushing it anymore. People inside the industry keep whispering about it, which is why it keeps popping back up and grabbing attention again and again. So here's what's being said. Beyonce and Pimp C allegedly made a private tape way before she and Jay-Z ever went public as a couple. One person tied to the story, Pimp and Ken, didn't directly say her name, but made clear Pimp was involved with the biggest R&B chick in the game, and that alone had people connecting fast.
Say who it is, but it's a real famous rapper, and it's a real famous R&B chick. Okay.
Yeah.
Pimp had a naked, he had a recording of them. I think he died with it, but he could have made millions of dollars. And some of the people that's high up in rap, if they would seen that tape, you know what I'm saying? You think the Kim Kardashian shit was something? Yeah, this would have blew it out the man. I'm gonna use your magic, the biggest R&B chick in the game.
Now this is where the story starts getting messy and people are split on what really went down. Some insiders are saying Pimp and Ken weren't claiming Pimp C made a tape with Beyonce at all, but instead that he somehow got access to a tape that allegedly involved Jay-Z and Beyonce. That version changes everything. And a lot of people think it sounds more believable when you line it up the timeline questions that have followed Jay-Z for years. The story has always been that Jay-Z met Beyonce when she was 18 and they started dating later. But there's an old interview that doesn't quite match that up. In 2007 sit-down with Charlie Rose, Jay-Z said he met Beyonce 10 years ago, which would place their first meeting around 1997. Back then, Beyonce would have been about 16, while Jay-Z was already close to 30. And that gap is exactly why people keep raising eyebrows about the timeline. What makes it even more suspicious to some people is what happened to that interview afterward. For a long time, you could easily find the full clip on Charlie Rose's official YouTube channel, no problem. But once these rumors and conversations started heating up again, people noticed the full interview suddenly disappeared. Of course, wiping something from one place doesn't erase it completely, and clips from that same interview are still floating around online. Fans and forums have kept those pieces alive, and now they're being picked apart more than ever as people try to connect all the dots.
There's a deal, and they know I know her. So, but
How long have you known her?
wow, a long time. However long she's recording. That's when I met her.
Don't you remember how long it was?
Yeah, when I met her. I mean,
Was it 5 years?
I met her 10 years ago. I met her 10 years ago.
Well, did you yourself at the time? Wow.
I say she's a fantastic talent.
That was it.
Yeah.
Now fans are out here connecting dots fast, and a lot of them believe that the rumored tape Pimp C supposedly had wasn't about him at all, but allegedly involved Jay-Z and Beyonce. That claim alone has people talking heavy, especially with how long this rumor has been floating around. Some versions of the story even push it further, suggesting the tape was recorded before Beyonce was legally an adult, which makes the whole situation way more serious and controversial if true. That's why people keep digging into old timelines interviews, trying to figure out what really happened back then. This is where Maze stepped into the picture. Maze and Pimp C were both active during the same era, late 90s into the early 2000s, and around the time UGK teamed up with Jay-Z on Big Pimpin', so all these names have been connected in the same circle before. According to what's being said, Maze allegedly heard about this rumored tape from Diddy himself, but when Maze got pressed on what he actually knows if the tape exists, he didn't confirm anything directly and instead said, "I'm saving my takes for the documentary," which only made people more curious. Now that response has people wondering if Maze is planning something big, maybe even a full documentary digging into Diddy, Jay-Z, or both. It got the same kind of energy people saw when other major industry stories started getting exposed, and now expectations are rising fast. And here's where things take a darker turn, because some people online are trying to link this whole situation to Pimp C's death. If you look around social media, you'll see theories claiming that this rumored tape could be connected to what happened to him, even though nothing has been proven. Pimp C passed away on December 4th, 2007, which also happens to be Jay-Z's birthday, a detail that keeps getting brought up in these conversations. Official reports ruled his death as accidental, but speculation hasn't stopped, especially from people who believe there's more to the story. He was staying at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood and was scheduled to travel home that same day. His wife, Chiara, and his husband, Ed, were waiting at the airport, but when they didn't hear from him, concerns started building quickly. After Chiara contacted the hotel, staff checked his room and found him unresponsive. The official cause is listed as accidental overdose involving cough syrup, combined with complications from sleep apnea. But despite that, debates and theories continued to spread online. But here's where things really start to feel off, because a lot of details just don't line up with the official story. First, people pointed out that the hotel camera supposedly stopped working that same day, which immediately raised eyebrows. It's one of those situations that makes people question how camera always seemed to fail at those convenient times. Then things got even more intense. DJ Paul from Rick's Mafia spoke on her Pimp C's manager, Rick Martin. According to Martin, he's actually at the scene and saw everything firsthand, and what he described didn't match the official explanation at all. Martin claimed the hotel room looked completely torn up, like there was serious damage all over the place, and he even suggested it looked like there were marks that didn't make sense for an accidental situation. That alone had people questioning how that lines up with the report that was given to the public, and it didn't stop there, because Martin also described how Pimp C's body was positioned in a way that shocked people. He said it looked like he was placed in a kneeling position, almost like he was praying, with candles around him that had burned all the way down, which only added to the mystery. He explained it like this, saying he was lying down like he was praying, but at the same time there were signs of serious injury, and blood was present, which made the whole scene confusing and hard to explain. The candles being fully burned made it seem like he had been there for a while, since he was known to light those tall candles when he slept. That detail about the position has made a lot of people speculate, wondering if it was meant to send some kind of message, especially since Pimp C was known for being outspoken and not backing down. People online have taken that and started building their own theories around what it could mean. Some have even tried to connect symbolism to artists like Jay-Z and Beyonce, pointing to how they present themselves publicly, but it's important to note that these are interpretations and not confirmed facts. Still, the conversation keeps growing as more voices jump in with their own opinions. Jaguar Wright also added fuel to the situation by directly accusing Jay-Z of being connected to Pimp C's death, along with making other serious claims about the industry. None of the accusations have been proven, but they've definitely kept the spotlight on this story and pushed even more people to question what really happened.
He lined up D even, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
Even people closest to Pimp C weren't fully convinced by the official explanation, and that alone says a lot. When family starts questioning what really happened, it keeps the conversation alive and makes people look at the situation differently. According to journalist Julia Beverly, who wrote Pimp C's biography, his own mother strongly believed her son didn't just pass away by accident. She was convinced someone was responsible for taking his life, and that belief has only added more weight to all the theories circulating today.
His mom believes he was murdered, and she basically breaks down the reasons why she believes that. But a lot of people heard that he died of a cocaine overdose, which is not true at all. That was actually, the day he passed, or the day that the results of testing were announced. The coroner said, he did not overdose. And then you had all these newspapers that said that he did overdose. So there's actually a person of interest, according to his mother, that she believed had something to do with his death. So I wasn't able to really definitively come to a conclusion, but I've laid out all the facts.
At the end of the day, there's still no solid proof that Pimp C ever had a copy of the tape of Jay-Z or the entity that even exists. There's also no confirmed evidence linking Jay-Z to Pimp C's passing, and that part needs to be clear no matter how wild theory gets. But that hasn't stopped fans from holding on tight to their suspicions. A lot of people are convinced there's something deeper going on, and they keep pointing to small details that feel don't add up. One fan even questioned why Beyonce had performed for years but never brings out that track with Bun B, saying it feels intentional and worth looking at. Others took it even further, throwing out heavy claims and trying to connect timelines and events in a way. You've got people saying things like Jay-Z sacrificed Pimp C, even though there's no proof behind that, showing just how far some of these theories have gone. Then you look at everything stacked together, and you can see why the conversation keeps growing. Jay staying quiet, saying it for a documentary, has he locked in, wondering what he might reveal. Add in the rumors about what Diddy allegedly shared, the questions around that supposed tape, and the different versions of who's even in it, and it just keeps building. On top of that, people point to the timeline, the date of Pimp C's death, coinciding with Jay-Z's birthday, the reports about the hotel cameras, and the details from those who were close to the situation. Even his own mother believed it wasn't an accident, which keeps emotions and questions running high. Still, it's important to separate confirmed facts from speculation, because right now a lot of this remains unproven and based on what people believe rather than what's been verified. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think was really going on behind all this? Do you think there's more to the story, or is this just rumors getting out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comment, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want more breakdowns like this.
The devil in God's country. That's what's who. It's what, what happened.
People are curious how a guy, you've sold how many records?
28 million.
And made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
How do you end
I think everyone who's watching knows how I ended up in here.
I don't know if they do.
I'm pretty sure they do.
All a part of this Epstein file. Uncle Luke had Jay-Z on the couch, and he had the girl off there freaking off while he was watching and everything. She could take it out. The
conspiracy against me, because in the absence of the truth, bullshit will prevail.
DMX tried to warn us. DMX was speaking out against the industry a long time ago. Check this out.
There's room in the industry, you will get hurt. I'm an industry artist. I'm an artist in the industry. So I do it because nobody can finish me. The industry wants it, dead or alive, new artists to sell their souls and weddings.
DMX's warning about Jay-Z, it's hitting different now. For years, DMX made it clear he didn't trust that man, not even little. And with everything surfacing lately, it feels like he saw through the shine, the power moves, and the polished image way before anyone else did. While headlines stayed locked on DMX's legal battles, most people ignored the deeper message he kept slipping in between interviews and songs. He wasn't venting. He was talking about the music industry like it was something dark, something calculated. When DMX spoke about meeting the devil, he wasn't joking around or being poetic. He meant it literally. He believed something evil stepped into his life, offering deals in exchange for his soul, and he didn't hold back when naming names. From Jay-Z to high-level executives pulling strings behind the curtain, DMX pointed at the power structure and said it was bigger than rap. Now, with newly released files making rounds, people are rethinking those old interviews. Jay-Z's name shows up twice in connection to serious investigations. That alone has folks raising eyebrows. An FBI intake report appears to mention Jay alongside Harvey Weinstein and Epstein. Then there's the email from former Barclays CEO Jeff Saley, where he told Epstein that wealthy elites didn't have to worry about black protesters because they had been bought off by Jay-Z. That's two separate references tying Jay-Z's name to powerful circles that operate behind closed doors. DMX spent years warning about hidden networks and industry gatekeepers who control careers like chess pieces. Notice this, when he started speaking more openly about how the system works, his radio presence fade fast. One minute, he was ruling the charts. Next minute, he was barely getting spins. And he blamed his personal struggles, but the timing raises questions. Every comeback attempt seemed to hit a wall at the exact moment he got too outspoken. And then, just when he was clean, focused, and back in the studio making new music, he was suddenly gone. Official reports said it was an overdose, but a lot of people still question that story. This pattern feels familiar. Artists who speak out, especially about spiritual truths or shady business practices, often seem to get pushed aside or erased. DMX wasn't scared to talk about God, the devil, or what he believes is a dark agenda inside the industry. That boldness made him a problem for powerful people.
Curious how a guy, you've sold how many records?
28 million.
And make millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I didn't think.
I think everyone who's watching knows how I ended up in here.
I don't know if they do.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Back in 2007, DMX performed The Industry on HBO's Def Poetry Jam. That wasn't just poetry, it was a warning shot. On the stage, he broke down how artists get manipulated, pressured, and pushed to compromise who they are just to stay in the game. He wasn't whispering either. He said it with his chest.
You know what I'm saying? And it basically reflects on my relationship with the industry. This is what it is. Often, my words fall on deaf ears. Because listening, but don't hear. Talk to a nigga, he be sitting right here. I be like, where you going? Yeah. Thank you.
But he went deeper than contracts and label drama. DMX talked about a spiritual war happening behind the scenes in entertainment. In interviews and in his music, he made it clear the darkness wasn't just about money or fame. He believed that was real. He claimed certain people in business were tapping into negative energy, doing rituals, chasing power to stay famous and stay young, and guiding artists down that same road. That heavy stuff.
Whenever I went to something, it brought me closer to God. And I stayed in something. So now I'm closer to God. But being closer is hard. The attacks get stronger. Become much harder to fight, and they last longer. It's always there. Boy, pain, dark, light, sun, rain. What can we expect against something to gain? Look at the good and the bad. Not the sun,
X said he refused. When he turned it down, he began warning others about what he saw as the devil moving through industry. And after that, things shifted. In September 2013, DMX appeared on the Dr. Phil Show. He opened up about his life, legal issues, money problems, and personal struggles. But he also talked about spiritual battles and hidden layers in the industry. Dr. Phil brought up one of his lyrics, "Mow the grass to see the snakes," and that sparked a deeper conversation about DMX's faith. X explained every album he created included a conversation with God. For him, music wasn't just entertainment, it was a fight between light and darkness, playing out in real time.
I want to take a look at some of the lyrics from your song, Who We Be. I think you like these lyrics. The hurt, the pain, the dirt, the rain, the dirt, the fame, the work, the game.
I like these. Yeah.
The friends, the foes, the bins, the hoes, these studios, the shows. Why don't you just read? I like the way
shows comes and it goes. Jealousy, the envy, the phony, friendly. When they gave slugs, when they put them in, snakes to grass. Too long to see. The mama was sitting right next to me.
Then Dr. Phil asked him straight up about the 3 times he said he ran into the devil. DMX didn't dodge it. He said, if you really want to understand this world, you have to see both sides.
It's there, just mow that grass and you'll see the snakes.
Yeah. So you write
everything I say, yes.
I mean, that's you write all of your songs.
All of them. So when people call myself an artist, didn't they?
You have, I guess I would call it a gospel song, or certainly
a song and a conversation with the Lord on every album.
On every album. Lord, give me a sign. I pulled some of those lyrics out.
He explained the devil doesn't show up looking evil. The offers look good, the promises sound sweet. There's always price hiding in the fine print.
Tell me what these lyrics are and what
it's just a conversation, but I really talk to you all. Since last time we talked, the walk has been hard. But I know you haven't left me, but I feel like I'm home. I'm a big boy now, but I'm still not grown. I'm still going through it. Pain in the hurt, soaking up like rain in the dirt. And I know only I can stop the pain with just a minute of Savior's name. In the name of Jesus, I will rebuke you for my code. We're trying to make me do what I used to, but all that stops right here. On the Lord's life, I will have no fear. I will know no pain from the light to the dark. I will know no shame. Spit it right from the heart, this right from the start. You know down, even the nigga tell me out. Lord, give me a sign.
And this wasn't a one-time story.
You've had You've had a song on every album, Conversation with God. You've had
and a prayer.
And a prayer. And I think you've had
Three conversations with the devil.
3 conversations with the devil. Why with the devil?
Well, to make a fair decision, I think you have to be aware of both sides. And I was approached, so of course I had an conversation. It doesn't mean I rode with him or believed him. I just was able to recognize him by what he said and what he offered me. Oh, now I know you. That's why I stopped talking about it. Now he's only on me.
In a 2009 interview from jail in Arizona, DMX said he met the devil in what he called God's country. First, Arizona felt peaceful. The sunrises looked spiritual, almost healing. But then something shifted. He described experiencing something that deeply disturbed him. He connected that place to a spiritual battle and said he would never go back there again. Now here's the question. Was he speaking in metaphor, or did he believe it was a real confrontation? DMX constantly spoke against powerful executives and artists he felt were chasing fame at any cost. So when he mentioned Arizona, some people wondered what happened there. Did someone approach him with a deal, a warning, pressure fall in line? Those are questions people still debate. Arizona has a reputation for wide open lands, privacy, and extreme isolation. Just across the border in New Mexico sits Epstein's Zorro Ranch, a location that has raised many public questions over the years. The stories connected to the police have made headlines and sparked intense discussion. That alone adds another layer people can't ignore. The Southwest is also known for ultra-private rehab centers. Some are praised for helping people rebuild their lives. Others have faced criticism over strict control, heavy medication, and isolation tactics. DMX went through rehab in that region multiple times. So people ask, was it just treatment, or did he feel pressured to stay quiet? After Arizona, after what he described as an encounter with the devil, his tone seemed even more intense. He said he would never go back. That alone tells you whatever happened in Arizona shook him to the core. It wasn't just a bad memory, it clearly left a mark on him. And keep this in mind, the people DMX criticized weren't small players. He was pointing at major power figures, the gatekeepers, the ones people believe moved things behind closed doors, including Jay-Z. In 2004, Jay-Z became president of Def Jam. At that point, DMX had already dropped 5 straight #1 albums. He was unstoppable. But once Jay stepped into that top position, DMX claimed his 6th album, Year of the Dog, again, didn't get the push it deserved. He felt it was blocked. Why would that happen? Some believe Jay wanted a clear path, no competition breathing near the throne. That's when DMX reportedly started seeing things differently. He felt Jay would do whatever it took to stay on top, even if it meant stepping over someone who once stood beside him. That realization hit hard, and soon after, X walked away from Def Jam. The diss didn't stop at label politics. DMX also questioned the company Jay kept behind the scenes. Both men changed hip-hop forever, no doubt about that, but they moved in totally different ways. DMX constantly spoke about record labels controlling artists, presenting deals that looked good on paper but came with heavy strings attached. He warned about contracts that trap people.
Now, you got issues with the industry. What's going on with the industry, dog?
The industry is full of dick-sucking, dick-riding, bending over the desk ass nigga, straight up with that. Whoever don't get, bring it, nigga, bring it. I don't give a fuck. Bring it, bitch.
The industry is full of homo hating ass niggas. I mean, it's like they this new breed rapper that's paying DJs play their shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They sucking the record label executives, and there's too much of that going on. Right. You know what I'm saying? Let me be me. Let me be the artist that I am. Let's play my motherfucking music. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now they put you all up under this. You know, sitting at going to dinner with them and shit like that, and you know all that favor for a favor. Shut down like that. Look, give me money. That's it.
While DMX rejected what he saw as the darker side of the business, Jay was rising within the system. From early on, he's welcomed into powerful rooms, given influence, given a voice at executive tables. To some, that looked like success. To others, it raised eyebrows. 2 legends, 2 paths, and a divide that only grew deeper over time. What really widened the gap between DMX and Jay-Z wasn't just business, it was belief. DMX moved off faith, raw emotion, and what he felt was a high calling. They moved like a strategist, calm, calculated, always 10 steps ahead. To X, the difference meant everything. He saw the industry as a spiritual battlefield, while others saw it as a power game to master. As Jay-Z's influence kept growing, partnerships expanded, billion-dollar deals rolled in, and corporate alliances stacked up. From fashion to sports agencies to luxury brands, Jay became the face of elevation in hip-hop. But critics have pointed out that riding that high usually means working closely with powerful institutions. For DMX, that closeness to elite circles may have looked like compromise. He often warned that when artists get too comfortable with executives and global power players, independence fades fast. There were also whispers about how artists were treated behind closed doors. DMX spoke openly about contracts that box people in, about creative control being stripped away. He believed many artists didn't even realize what they were signing until it was too late. Meanwhile, they were praised for mastering those same contracts and eventually become the one offering it. That contrast created tension people couldn't ignore. Still, it's important to remember much of this lives in interpretation. DMX shared his truth as he saw it. Jay-Z has built a legacy many admire, but the clash between a man who believed he was fighting spiritual darkness and a man who thrived inside corporate power structures will always spark debate. 2 icons, 2 visions, and a story that keeps getting louder as time passes. There's been a lot of speculation that power became the priority above everything else, even above loyalty. Some people believe that when the stakes get that high, friendships turn into strategy. And that's where many say the real divide between DMX and Jay showed up. So was DMX trying to warn us when he talked about those 3 run-ins with the devil? Was he hinting at specific individuals, specific circles? He constantly spoke about hidden networks and power figures moving in silence. Now that Jay-Z's name had appeared in widely discussed documents connected to the Epstein investigation, even if only in references, people are connecting dots and asking questions. Are those connections meaningful or just coincidence? That's the debate. We may never get the full story, but one thing stands out. DMX believed he saw darkness operate behind fame and fortune, and he wasn't afraid to speak on it. Years later, those warnings hit different. His words feel heavier now. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think DMX was specifically talking about Jay-Z, or was he speaking more broadly about the system and powerful networks in general? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure you like, subscribe, share this video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.
Jay-Z, what are you doing? What you doing? So, but Hov just recently changed his name on all the streaming platforms to Jay-Z with dots.
I'm compensated for my art. I take advantage. I ain't taking advantage of people. I take no one. No one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do.
That's just, I'm looking these days, but, you know, she's looking good. And number 2, he's running with my number. She don't got my number.
So Jay-Z just switched his name up again, and yeah, his PR team is out here saying it's all about celebrating 30 years of reasonable doubt. But people are not buying that story at all, and Mace definitely isn't either. To him, this isn't some celebration. It's everything finally crashing down, just like he's been calling out for years. Mace is basically looking at this whole situation like, I told you so. For 2 decades, he's been talking, and now it's all playing out in real time, right in front of everybody. Jay-Z has been catching heat from all sides lately. Epstein Files rumors, the Harvey Weinstein connection, and even that GQ interview that came off so off-key, it had fans turning on him. And now, out of nowhere, there's a name change in the mix. That's got people raising eyebrows fast. Mace is standing on Morning Jay, saying his moment is coming. And from the way things are unfolding, it's starting to look real now.
Believe what you want to believe.
Word.
You know, people behave the way they want to behave.
You was who you was you got here.
What's who you got here. That's the makeup of your person.
So first, let's break down what even matters to Mace, because it isn't random at all. It's actually real simple when you look at it. Mace was one of the first in hip-hop called Jay-Z out for exactly what people are questioning today. Everything Jay-Z is dealing with now, Mace already talking about it nearly 20 years ago, and that's why he's feeling extra validated right now. Back in 1997, Mace was running game at that point. Harlem World went 4 times platinum, he had chart-topping records, and the whole bad boy wave pushing him heavy. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was still trying to find his footing with reasonable doubt, struggling to even hit gold status at the time. That's when Mace fired his first shot of Love Me, came direct, basically saying, oh, we hear platinum this, platinum that. No got no platinum hit. He was calling Jay out talking big about numbers to match it, and people definitely caught that energy. But it didn't stop at music. It got more personal, too. There was another layer to the situation, and her name was Arian. She grew up in a hard work where Mace and his girlfriend's names, but in real life, Arian had ties to Jay-Z. That didn't sit right with Jay at all, and the tension just added more heat to already brewing situation.
There was a young lady named Ariana that was scared. And it was done really harmlessly. At the time I was 19 years old, so I was just trying to get a vibe and show people what Harlem was like, from a real Harlem perspective. And it's just, she wanted to do it, so I let her do it. At that time, I didn't know she would, one hit guy's baby mom or something like that.
So after Mace checked Jay on that track with 112, Jay-Z did stay quiet. He came right back on Ride or Die with Slick Line, telling Mace to check your own video. You'll always be number 2. That line wasn't ran at all. It was a rush shot at Mace standing behind Diddy in the Can't Nobody Hold Me Down video, rocking that number 2 jersey while Puff had the number 1 spot. Jay was basically sending a message, saying Mace would always play the background, never the main role. That alone had people talking, but the deeper layer both don't even bring up. According to Dipset's 40 Cal, he didn't just stay on wax either. He claims Jay-Z actually pulled up on Mace in Harlem, trying to make a statement face-to-face and show who he had control.
About 20 minutes later, Jay-Z pulls up in a 4.6 range. He always talked about black train. He hopped out. I'm looking. Mace said, yeah, I like who are you talking about on that song when you check your own video numbers? Jay was like, everybody knows about you.
Now fast forward to 1999, and this is where things take a wild turn. Mace stepped away from the industry right at his peak, which shocked everybody watching. There were claims that Diddy tried to pull him into situations he wasn't comfortable with, and that moment changed everything for him. Mace was so shaken by what he experienced, and the names he said were involved, that he completely switched paths. He turned to faith, became pastor, and walked away from the spotlight, the whole system that once made him a star. Meanwhile, Jay-Z stayed in that world, kept a close relationship with Diddy for years. Now look at how things are lining up at 2026. Diddy is locked up, Jay-Z's name is being mentioned in major discussions, and suddenly, there's a name change in the middle of all this. People started noticing it quick. If you search Jay on Apple Music, Tidal, or even YouTube, something looked different. The Y now has 2 dots over it. His team's saying it's just tribute to reasonable doubt turning third, but not everyone is convinced. A lot of people online are comparing the move to Diddy used to do, switching names during different moments in his career. From Puffhead to P. Diddy to Diddy and more, every shift had people talking. And now Jay's move is the same kind of question. One fan even said he was trying to make himself hard to Google, and that comment spread fast. Because at the end of the day, people are looking past the name and focusing on the big picture. You can switch names all you want, your past doesn't just disappear. And right now, all eyes are locked in on Jay-Z. Jay-Z's name didn't just come up once in those files, it showed up twice. And that's why people are paying close attention. First mention came from an FBI intake where a woman claims she opened a room with Harvey Weinstein, Jay-Z, alone people raising serious questions. But that's only part of the story. Here's where it gets even deeper, and this is the part a lot of mainstream coverage barely touches. There was another document tied to those files, an email from former CEO Jay-Z February 3rd, 2015. In that email, Taylor was talking of anti-corruption protests happening in Brazil, and he made a whole claim that something like that wouldn't happen in the U.S. Why? Because according to him, certain communities had been influenced through celebrity culture, and he specifically mentioned Jay-Z in that context. The email even said, "You want to know why we're not Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl." Then it goes on about hip blacks and hip cars with white women, painting this picture of how advertising is used to shape perception and keep people distracted. So what's really being suggested here, the idea is that big media and marketing push certain images to make everything look smooth and successful, even when deeper issues are still there. And in that conversation, Jay-Z name gets brought up as part of that influence, which is why people are connecting dots right now. And this is where some critics start tying in later event too. People still remember how things played out with Colin Kaepernick. After he took a knee, faced a major backlash from the NFL, Jay-Z later partnered with the league as part of a social justice initiative. That move had mixed reactions, especially when Jay-Z said, "We're past kneeling, let's move on." That line stuck with people. And now, all these old emails and claims resurfacing, adding more layers to how some are interpreting his role in bigger systems.
Okay, I think we passed kneeling. Yeah, I think it's time to go into actionable items. I think everyone knows what they should. We're done with that. Everyone knows that we, you know the issue? You know why we're kneeling? Okay, you know the issue? Yeah, you know the issue? Yes, we all know the issue now.
Then fast forward to September 2025, and this moment, people talk heavy. Jay-Z and Beyonce were spotted sitting at the same table as Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner at a Reform Alliance event. And here's the key detail. This is Jay-Z's own organization, which means he wasn't ranked at all. He could sit anywhere, with anyone, but he chose that table. That decision had people ask real questions. Why sit down with Trump or son-in-law like everything is normal? For a lot of critics, the answer is simple. It's about power and class. Once you reach the billionaire level, rules change and alliances start looking different. The argument people are making is that Jay-Z had more in common with elite circles than with everyday people watching all this unfold. That image of being the voice of the streets starts to look different when moments like this pop up. Jay-Z's always positioned himself as someone who can move between two worlds, the culture and the corporate side. But now people question who really benefits from that position. When movements happen, some feel like his message leans towards staying in the system instead of pushing against it. You saw that conversation come up again around made protests and social movements, and it's being brought back now with everything resurfacing. Critics are saying he steps in during key moments and shifts the energy toward patience, process, and working inside established structures. And then there's that GQ interview, which added even more fuel to the conversation. People noticed right away. It felt soft, like the tough questions were missing. The interviewer did bring up Diddy, didn't press on those files, and kept things surface level the whole time. Jay-Z briefly mentioned that lawsuit that got dismissed and called it heartbreaking. People also noticed what wasn't said. There was no deeper discussion about his long-standing connection with Diddy, and no acknowledgement of others involved in those wider conversations, which only made critics look closer at the whole situation.
Really hard. I was heartbroken. I've been that angry in a long time. Uncontrollable anger. Like, you don't put that on someone. Like, that, you better be super sure. It was like a testament because people know me. Like, I know you are, and that's impossible.
And here's another detail that caught people off guard. The lawyer who held that lawsuit for Jay-Z, Al Spiro, was also mentioned in those same files, which only made the situation look even more complicated. Then during that interview, when the topic shifted to criticism of billionaire, Jay didn't hold back. He said, "It's a cop-out to demonize rich people, brush off backlash completely." And on top of that, he made it clear he believes he's never taken advantage of anyone, despite all the conversations happening around him.
I didn't take advantage. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people. I didn't take advantage of no one. No one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people or taking advantage of, loopholes in the system or some wrinkle in a capitalist structure. The structure exists. And just see the world for what it is, not for what I want it to be. I'm a realist, not ideal. It's not idealist.
And then Jay-Z jumped to the Kendrick versus Drake situation with a take that had people side-eyeing him. He said the whole beef went too far, like he calling things to cool down. The comment did sit right with everyone, especially with everything else going on around him, and it only added more reactions to his aim.
So much negative stuff that comes with it, it almost shouldn't happen.
Really?
Yeah, because it's almost like it's a final thing. Now, people that like Kendrick hate Drake.
Yeah.
No matter what he makes, no matter what he says, and it goes far too. It's like attack on his character. The thing is, it's like, I don't know.
But wait a second, this is where people really started calling things out. Didn't Jay-Z personally choose Kendrick to headline Super Bowl, knowing he had that track aimed at Drake, calling him a file in PDF format? Now suddenly he's saying things got negative. That switch up had people looking at him sideways. But the part that really made people uncomfortable came later in the interview. They started talking about being untouchable, tying it back to his Hoff name, which comes from Jehovah, a name for God in the Bible. And that didn't sit right with a lot of listeners at all.
Like, what? Oh, Jay-Z. Dude, speak that.
I'm not even sure who told Jay-Z the interview was a good idea, because it didn't help his image at all. It made everything worse. The way he came off had people talking crazy online, calling him arrogant, out of touch, and not in sync with reality. Social media wasted no time reacting either. A lot of people are saying they're no longer buying into that polished black excellent image he's been putting for years. One user on X summed it up perfectly, saying Jay-Z tried to sell black capitalism as personal wealth as if it benefited everyone. And that message didn't land the way it used to. That same post went even deeper, claiming his whole brand lines up with ideas he supposedly stands against. The argument is that his message about success sounds a lot like that. Pull yourself up and make it on your own mindset, which some people feel ignores big systemic issues. Critics now questioning what winning really meant in his world. To them, it looked like success was always tied to moving closer to elite circles, and that's why some are connecting his image of wealth and power more than culture. And when you line all that up with how he sounded in that GQ interview in 2026, a lot of people are saying it feels like a major disconnect, like cultural icon who once spoke to the people but now sounds removed from them completely. But now I want to hear from you. What did you think about that interview, and how do you feel about the name change? Do you think all of this timing is just coincidence, or is there more going on behind the scenes? I've thought in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video, and stay locked in for what's coming next.
Beyonce couldn't get pregnant. Not naturally, not normally. What I do know is this. When Beyonce got on that stage with that fake baby bump, don't have Beyonce nothing. She just likes it. I always thought it was kind of weird how she did resemble Jay-Z to a certain extent. No, that girl is starting to look like eyes, cheekbones, the jawline, this feltness on her thin. See, I know. You know what happened to Corey?
Jay-Z is looking real uneasy right now. After 50 Cent's identity connected to the child Kathy White was reportedly carrying before her mysterious death, the internet went wild. Word on the street says 50 is planning to break everything down in full detail during the second part of his documentary coming next year, and people are already bracing themselves. For a while now, things have been pointing straight at Jay-Z. Rumors claiming he was somehow tied to Kathy's death. Reports floating around online say that when her body was found, there were shocking irregularities that raised serious questions. People online called it dark, disturbing, and beyond unsettling, and details being discussed only made it sound even more twisted. Before 50 Cent brought all this back into the spotlight, the story was already resurfacing because of a troubling tweet from well-known journalist Liz Krogan. This happened around the time D was first arrested, and her words instantly caught attention. But even before that, Liz tweeted back 2017 hinting that Jay had been involved in what happened to Kathy. She wrote, "When Kanye West says Jay-Z has life tickers, I believe he's talking about people who took out Kathy White." That tweet sat unnoticed for years. Now here's the wild part. Liz shared that message back in 2017, long before anyone was publicly accusing Jay of anything like this. But after the chaos surrounding D, she resurfaced the tweet and had double quotes, leaving everyone shocked and demanding answers. First off, note the date, because this part matters a lot. One tweet lit the internet on fire when Liz Krogan directly called out Jay-Z in a way that had everyone stunned. She wrote, "Hey Jay-Z, I was a reporter who talked to your alleged mistress right before she died / was deleted. I know everything. I know what you did. Go F yourself. Your time is coming. Maybe you and Diddy can share a prison cell. Justice is coming." She didn't stop there either, adding, "It's only a matter of time for a spirit cook." That alone had people shook. Then she went even further, saying Jay-Z was being exposed like Diddy. She referenced Kanye's past comments and claimed there's a reason Kanye said Jay's got murder. I would know. He's evil to the core. I pray there will justice Kathy one day. The false idols will continue to fall. Mark my words. Those tweets grabbed everyone's attention fast and sent people digging deep. After that, the internet went into full detective mode, trying to piece together what really happened to Kathy around the time of her death. According to official records, her autopsy ruled the cause as a brain aneurysm. However, for years now, speculation has been floating around online that powerful people may have influenced the report to prevent further scrutiny. None of this has been proven, but the rumors spread like wildfire. Things escalated when the blogger, Hollywood Street King, who first reported on the alleged affair, launched a private investigation to uncover more details about Kathy's death. He shared his finding, he was allegedly pressured to take the article down. Still, screenshots already saved and started circulating everywhere online. Those images made their way across social media fast, and people kept reposting them nonstop. The article reportedly began with, "Yesterday, I got the news that Kathy Michelle White had suddenly passed away." And just like that, the controversy exploded all over again. So I quickly began my investigation, and guess what? Kathy did not die from a brain aneurysm like the internet kept pushing. That's what was reported after an NYPD detective allegedly revealed that Kathy's cause of death was still uncertain at the time. According to that source, the case was already being treated as suspicious, and they were waiting on both the autopsy and toxicology reports to get clearer answers. Here's where it gets even crazier. Kathy White passed away exactly 1 year to the day after the story about her alleged affair with Jay-Z first broke. A 911 call reportedly came in from an apartment at 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Paramedics arrived, found Kathy unwell, and rushed her to Beth Israel Hospital, where she later passed away. At that point, it was way too early to lock a brain aneurysm as the official cause. An autopsy was scheduled to determine what really happened, along with toxicology tests in case something harmful was involved. Those results were expected to take about 2 weeks, leaving a lot of unanswered questions hanging in the air. Things get even more intense when you look at what happened shortly before her death. About 2 weeks earlier, Kathy had been contacted by a major tabloid digging into her alleged connection with Jay-Z. She reportedly didn't give them much, but one source claimed that after that call, she reached out to Jay directly and told him she planned to go public with the affair for a price. All of this unfolded within the same short time window. Then, just over 48 hours after news broke Beyonce was pregnant with Jay's child, Kathy suddenly died under circumstances people online immediately started questioning. The article also mentioned photos showing Claudia Jordan and Kathy partying with Jay at a club months before Kathy's death. Apparently, Kathy and Claudia were close friends, and it was Claudia who allegedly introduced Kathy to Jay in the first place. Because of alleged threats, Hollywood Street King claimed he couldn't continue pushing the investigation and was forced to drop it entirely, leaving the story unfinished and the mystery even deeper. But then Jaguar Wright stepped in and picked up right where the story was left, dragging this whole situation straight into chaos. She publicly claimed that Kathy didn't pass away from a brain aneurysm at all, but instead alleged that something far more sinister happened inside private residence. Jaguar went as far as accusing Jay-Z and Beyonce of being involved, claiming jealousy played a role because of Kathy's alleged relationship with Jay.
Taking a Philly. she actually died screaming, and Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. The question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand sake. I mean, I'm just speculating.
And Jack didn't stir at all. She made explosive allegations saying Beyonce supposedly wasn't pregnant at the time and claimed the situation around Kathy's pregnancy raised serious questions. These claims spread fast online, even though none of them have been proven, and they immediately shocked a lot of people. Jaguar also alleged that there was damaging evidence in circulation, claiming that Diddy supposedly possessed footage connected to Kathy's final days. Again, these statements were presented as allegations, but they poured gasoline on an already raging fire.
So that what you say?
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress died of an imaginary aneurysm, just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list.
But the rumors keep piling up. Some people online even speculate that Beyonce's song Daughter was a hidden confession explaining how and why Kathy White died. That theory took fast, with listening to dissecting lyrics and drawing their own conclusions, even though there's no proof backing it up. Of course, once those theories start spreading, people brought up the infamous deflated pregnancy moment. This happened during a televised interview when Beyonce appeared to sit down and her baby visibly shifted on camera. That single moment fueled years of speculation with critics claiming it looked unnatural. Sports quickly pushed back, saying camera angles, clothing, and movement can easily create misleading visuals. Still, that clip has never stopped circulating online, and people continue to debate it nonstop.
But this time exposed some, even brought us by surprise. Here he is again, slowed down, as Beyonce sits down Molly Meldrum, her dress folds.
Assert it because she wanted her body for this dress.
Whether true or not, these claims turned Kathy's story into one of the most talked about controversial mysteries tied to celebrity culture, and the internet refused to let it go. And just when people thought the story could get any louder, the internet went in full meltdown mode again. Bloggers, live streamers, and comment sections were flooded with theory, timelines, and side-by-side clips, all trying to connect dots surrounding Kathy White's death. Every old interview, lyric, and photo suddenly became evidence in the court of public opinion. What really pushed this situation into overdrive was how many people claimed the timeline simply didn't sit right. Online sleuths started lining up dates, public appearances, and announcements, saying the sequence of events raised serious questions. Nothing's proven, but the chatter exploded anyway, and the rumors moved faster than facts. At the same time, supporters of Jay-Z and Beyonce fired back hard. They all claimed reckless, misleading, and straight up dangerous. Many point out that viral speculation can spiral out of control and hurt real people, especially when there's no verified proof behind the accusations. Still, that didn't stop the streets from talking. Podcasts and YouTube channels kept revisiting Kathy's name, repeating the same question over and over. Why does this story keep resurfacing every few years? Why does it always get louder instead of fading away? Others claim the silence from certain industry insider only made things look stranger. People asked why no clear, detailed explanation ever shut the rumor down for good. Every answered question just added more heat to the situation. One thing is clear though, Kathy White's name has become permanently tied to one of the most controversial celebrity mysteries online. Whether it's rumors, half-truths, or wild speculation, her story refuses to disappear. And as long as old clips keep resurfacing and new voices keep chiming in, this messy saga stays alive louder than ever, with internet still demanding answers that may never come. Now when it comes to 50 Cent, he stayed quiet publicly about Kathy. But word on the street says Jay-Z's name is expected to come up in the upcoming documentary. 50 has already said the project is dropping next year and supposed to include information nobody's ever heard before, along with alleged receipts tied to Jay-Z and Kathy. According to online chatter, the so-called receipts are being hyped as explosive enough to raise serious questions about the original investigation. Some people are even claiming it could pressure authorities to take another look at the case, though nothing like that has been confirmed. Then there's the rumor mill spinning out of control again. Based on what Jaguar Rock claimed, some internet users are speculating about the identity of Kathy's child. That speculation has dragged Blue Ivy's name into the conversation, even though there is no proof backing that theory at all.
And I know the way you run, this cannot be all that you have. Is there other stuff that you just have not shown?
Yeah, well, everything that it's only for episodes.
Right.
So a lot you have to pick and choose things. Like even in the area where he chooses the people who he knows previously did someone, he had a baby by when there was 10 to 5.
Wow.
Add to it, but we had to cut it down. So
you're coming out. I know next year's gonna be a number 2.
Well, let's put it on YouTube.
I just put it on YouTube. Well, we can subscribe and get it.
As expected, people online had plenty to say. One commenter claimed that little girl got the shape of Kathy's head and jawline. She doesn't look anything like Beyonce. They want to believe that. Another person wrote, "You heard the lyrics to that song, Daughter by Beyonce? Definitely a confession. She's 100% talking about Kathy. These are opinions, not facts, but they spread fast. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the rumors surrounding Jay-Z and Kathy's death? Do you believe the internet's reaching, or do you think there are still unanswered questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so others can weigh in too."
You know, what is Pimp C gonna say on this? He didn't like the beginning. It's just like, hey, big man, that's thing too.
It annoys the fuck out of me that they say Shed died of drunk, because it's not how he died. You can't die from sleep apnea and die from, like, come on.
Pimp C died in 2007. And why haven't we got Pimp C documentary?
because there was a lot of strange details surrounding Pimp C. He was notorious on these radio stations and being whistled about industry.
Some day, that didn't with the deep signal officer.
So Jay-Z just booked working with Pimp C on Pimpin', and he made them like a solid relationship. He painted the whole situation as respectful, saying it was mostly love between them, even if they had a few creative disagreements along the way.
Like the beat in the end, it was just like, hey, chick, man, that thing too fruity, man. Like, he thought he was making like the biggest commercial, like, sellout record. And he took some convincing. He still did song. We actually was really cool.
So here we go again with Jay-Z telling story from his side, because a lot of people remember things very differently. There have been public reports over the years suggesting that he and Pimp C were never especially close, and we'll get into that in a second. And this is what catches people's attention. Some critics have made similar claims before. After DMX passed away, some people felt Jay-Z described their relationship in a much more positive way than what had been said publicly in the past. DMX had only accused Jay of getting in the way of his album release, while others argue their relationship was far more complicated than simple competition. Then, after DMX's passing, some fans felt Jay's comments painted them as being on much better terms than they remembered. Now, some people believe a similar situation is happening with Pimp C, but this time Pimp family and people close to him have publicly pushed back. They've said Pimp C wasn't a fan of Jay-Z, and some have claimed he may have known information that could have caused major problems if it had ever come out. Pimp C's wife, Chinara, has publicly said she does not believe he died from a lean overdose, as officially reported, and Pimp C's mother has also publicly stated that she believes her son was poisoned. So what really happened to Pimp C, and why do so many people disagree of the story surrounding his relationship with Jay-Z? Let's get into it.
If you get that cool, but be gay and come out and be that. Don't be in front of us and act like a straight G, and then you get over here and let him bust up your back. But you know, it's gonna come to light.
Chad Butler, better known as Pimp C, passed away nearly 20 years ago, and people are still debating exactly what happened on December 4th, when he was found dead in his room at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood. The date also happened to be Jay-Z's birthday, a detail that has often been pointed out by fans. The official rulings that Pimp C died from the combined effects of prescription cough syrup and other medications. According to coroner's findings, his death was ruled accidental. Officials said the combination of promethazine, codeine, and other factors contributed to respiratory depression. Even so, some people have continued to question the case because the complete autopsy report has not been publicly released. Instead, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office issued a public statement saying his death involved the effects of methazine, codeine, along with other contributing factors that were not fully established. Another detail that keeps people talking is what Ed Winter, the assistant chief of the coroner's office at the time, reportedly said. He stated that the levels of promethazine and codeine found in Pimp C's system were elevated, but not necessarily high enough on their own to explain death. That's where the debate grows even bigger. Pimp C's wife, Chinara, later publicly said she believed he had stopped using lean and other substances, adding that, to her knowledge, he was not drinking lean on the day he passed away.
Actually, me and Dad used to call that rehab. No, that was our rehab. That was a rehab. I always looked at it as, yep, rehab. I've been rehabbing a long time. I barely.
Wait, y'all got smoking rehab?
That's what y'all, yeah, we just gonna smoke. It annoys that they say Chad died drunk because it's not how he died.
Now, here's another detail that some people point to when questioning the official timelines around the lean story. Chinara publicly said that Pimp C was scheduled to meet with his probation officer the very next day.
He had to come back first thing in the morning because he had to go to parole. So I ain't know it. Get the hell out of here. I already had.
After his release from prison in 2005, Pimp C remained on parole until December 2009. Since passed away in December 2007, he was still under parole supervision at the time. Because of that, it's reasonable that he may have had regular meetings with his parole officer. Supporters of alternative theories have argued that if he was expecting an important meeting the following morning, it seems less likely that he would have intentionally spent the entire night drinking lean alone in his hotel room. That idea has led to speculation from some people that someone else may have been with Pimp C that night and could have played a role. However, no evidence has publicly confirmed those claims. Pimp C's mother, Wetland Ma Westonroe, publicly said she believed her son had been poisoned by someone who was at the Mondrian Hotel that night. She shared the belief with journalist Julia Beverly, who later wrote a biography about Pimp C. During an interview with Hot 107.9, Julia also said that Ma West remained completely convinced that her son's death was not an accident and believed foul play was involved.
Well, his mom believes he was, and she basically breaks down reasons why she believes that. I couldn't really. There's some circumstantial evidence that makes me think that. But a lot of people have heard that he died of codeine overdose, which is not true at all. That was actually, the day he passed, or the day the results of the test and whatnot were not announced. Coroner said he did not overdose, and then you got all these newspapers that said that he did overdose. So that was just irresponsible media came up. His one thing he was poisoned, and there's someone with him when he passed who was a very shady, strange character. So there's actually a person of interest, according to his mother, that she believed had something.
But here's where the story takes another unexpected turn. One of the people Pimp C was reportedly supposed to meet while he was in California was DJ Paul of 36 Mafia. Later, DJ Paul said he heard from Pimp's manager, Rick Martin, that the hotel room looked far different than he expected. He also claimed Pimp was found in a praying position with candles nearby and what he described as red stain on the walls. Rick Martin was the person who identified Pimp C's body. And according to DJ Paul's account, Martin described a shocking scene. DJ Paul called him saying he was lying down like he was praying, but was low around like he was shot. They thought he was shot in the head, but they didn't know what the hell happened because there's blood everywhere. They thought he was shot. He kneeled down like he was praying. Candles were all waved down, so they knew he'd probably been dead or so, because he always lit candles to sleep. The statements have circulated for years, although they not officially confirmed by instigators. Because of stories like that, many fans have questioned whether the full explanation tells the whole story. Some have even shared their own theories about the unusual details surrounding the room, but none of those ideas have been proven. The unanswered questions are a big reason the case continues to spark debate even after all these years. Long before social media became what it is today, Pimp C had built a reputation for speaking his mind without holding back. He regularly gave outspoken interviews, challenged people in the music business, and made bold claims about what he believes happening behind the scenes. That reputation made him one of the most talked about voices in hip-hop. Some fans believe his comments put at odds with several influential figures, including Jay-Z. Jay has since described their relationship as respectful despite creative differences, but others have argued their disagreements went much deeper. Pimp C had publicly criticized Jay-Z on multiple occasions, including over comments involving Tupac, whom Pimp respected. According to UGK's former manager, Dame Dash even offered a large payment to Pimp C to appear on the track. The manager claimed that Pimp's response was the money should instead given to Tupac's mother, showing just how strongly he stood by his beliefs.
Instantly, like, y'all, that house. Right. I was like, yo, I was excited. $1 million. This is it. This is shit. This is shit. I called Phil and that's the fight. So I calmed down and the one tell like that was like, wait a minute. Tell what Jay-Z had. I was good. And I think the connection. I was like, he was tell him to take that chick over to come out and give it to him for still out Tupac. I'm like, man.
Put him on that pocket. He's been, so I let him hear Tupac. He went on his mission for him.
While Pimp C did eventually agree to appear on Big Pimpin', that didn't necessarily mean he and Jay-Z became close friends. People who were around the situation have described collaboration as business rather than a personal bond. Hendon was reportedly real, and Bun B has said it took some serious reverse psychology just to get Pimp C to even consider doing collaboration in the first place. Even after the song became a huge success, Pimp C reportedly wasn't especially impressed. To him, it was simply business, nothing more.
Hated on Pimp. We have that relationship, and to be honest, I think Pimp would have extended his verse to be equal value to him. So let's just break this bread and be done with it. Right. And to be honest, Pimp and Jay didn't really have a relationship in that sense. There's a lot of mutual respect, but whole night will always. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting featured. You know what I'm saying? But no, it was really just about like we worked very hard to get where we are. We've been successful now for being purely who we have always said we were. Riding most critically acclaimed ever released, Go album, not a music video. You know what I'm saying? And to get to that point and to possibly his mind go all the way. Because you want to pay somebody to do a verse or beat that you would never rap to. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like a lot. It took a lot to kind of bring him back around to the idea of being a better to the point where I just like reverse psychology. Like, don't do it. Like, don't worry about it. They ain't gonna do it. I'm telling me we ain't gonna do it. You don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I hate people. I mean, glad it worked out. But Big Pimpin' was not like in his top 10 G songs. Like, he didn't even want to do another one.
On top of all that, there have also been rumors over years of Pimp C and Beyonce before a relationship with Jay-Z. There were even unverified claims from some people in the industry that Pimp C prior recording involving Beyonce and was threatening released. However, none of those claims have been substantiated, and there is no public evidence confirming that story. Some fans believe the bigger issue wasn't personal at all, but Pimp C's outspoken views about music business. He frequently criticized part of the industry and spoke for independent and smaller artists, arguing they deserved better treatment and a fair share of the money they helped generate. Supporters of that view say his willingness to challenge powerful industry practices made him a controversial figure, drawing comparison to other artists, such as Prince, who also publicly criticized major record labels, the way the music business operated.
Radio has been killed. We play it the same all over the country. It was like that back then. You could fly on an airplane with different places. Every city you went to, they had different songs on the show than anywhere else. When you look at the charts and look at the different regions and saw what records was hot in different regions, it'd be different records. A lot of times at the number one spot, depending on what was hot in that region. When these two companies bought up all the radio stations and started controlling all the playlists and started putting handcuffs and braces on the DJs, they stopped all that. So everywhere you go, you get the same record playing. And they make them play it all day long. You might get something in the mix show, it's only a few hours in the day, but it records. So records you get in the mix show, the record that the mix is trying to break. The independent dudes will never get no play no more. Man, you know.
And Pimp C took things a step further by publicly talking about the idea of artists organizing and having a strong collective voice. He believed musicians should have more leverage when dealing with the business side of the industry. Supporters value that greater unity among artists could shift the balance of power and help them negotiate for fair treatment and better opportunities.
I'm just trying to bring some more attention to the man. Let's watch y'all. Yes, you know what I'm talking about? All people and money, man. What we're trying to do is all come together, unionize at some stage in the game, and stop the record from taking advantage of us. Let's get what's going on. Laugh at us when we go with each other. That's about no business. As long as we want to war, they can run the south and run the industry. So we got to keep off.
And that's exactly why so many people believe Pimp C stood out. He wasn't afraid to challenge the way parts of the music industry operated, or speak up for artists he felt weren't getting a fair deal. Now, was Jay-Z directly involved in Pimp C's death? There's no public evidence proving that, and it wouldn't be fair to claim otherwise. What is clear is the two men were viewed very differently by many fans. Pimp C built a reputation for openly criticizing parts of the industry, while Jay-Z became one of its biggest and most successful figures. That contrast continues to spark debate to this day. What do you think about everything we've covered? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with someone who follows hip-hop history, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
It probably was the first time I experienced what we're talking about rappers, athletes do it now when you diss by somebody you thought was.
So they leave our comments and Pimp comes in and he's dying laughing. And we're like, what's wrong? He's like, yo, man, you know, just told me because all that.
I tell you, there was this R&B chick. There was a guy who was getting money at the time. And, you know, he used to be in studio. And every now and then he had a camcorder, so he was able to get fit.
Mace is up with a wild claim about that alleged Pimp C and Beyonce tape, and now people are looking at Jay-Z sideways because of it. He's basically hinting that could be the real reason there's tension, like something deeper has been sitting under the surface this whole time. This rumor about him and Beyonce refused to fade out, and it's not just random blogs pushing it anymore. People inside the industry keep whispering about it, which is why it keeps popping back up and grabbing attention again and again. So here's what's being said. Beyonce and Pimp C allegedly made a private tape way before she and Jay-Z ever went public as a couple. One person talked to store Pimp and Ken, didn't really say her name, but made it clear Pimp was involved with the biggest R&B chick in the game, and that alone has people connecting dots fast.
Say who it is, but it's a real famous rapper, and this real famous R&B chick kept had a naked. He had a recording of them. I think he died with it, but he could have made millions of dollars. And some of the people that's high up in rap, they were seeing that tape. You know what I mean? Kim Kardashian or something. Yeah, this would have blew it up the man. It was this. I'm doing. Use your imagination. Biggest R&B chick in the game.
Now this is where the story starts getting messy, and people are split on what really went down. Some insiders are saying Pimp and Ken weren't claiming Pimp C made a tape with Beyonce at all, but instead he somehow got access to a tape that allegedly involved Jay-Z and Beyonce. That version changes everything, and a lot of people think it sounds more livable. You line up the timeline that have followed Jay-Z for years. The public story has always been that Jay-Z met Beyonce when she was 18 and they started dating later. But there's an old interview that doesn't quite match that up. In 2007 sit-down with Carl Rose, Jay-Z said he met Beyonce 10 years ago, which placed their first meeting around 1997. Back then, Beyonce would have been about 16, while Jay-Z was already close to 30. And that gap is exactly why people keep raising eyebrows about the timeline. What makes this even more suspicious to some people is what happened to the interview afterward. For a long time, you could easily find a full clip on Charlie Rose's official YouTube channel, no problem. But when these rumors and conversations started heating up again, people noticed the full interview suddenly disappeared. Of course, wiping something from one place doesn't erase it completely, and clips from that same interview are still floating around online. Fans and forums have kept those pieces live, and now they're being picked apart more than ever as people try to connect all the dots.
They know I know her. So, but you know her. I won't tell them. How long she's been recording. That doesn't matter. Don't remember how long it was. Yeah, I met her. I met her 10 years ago. I met her 10 years ago. Well, you years up at the time. Wow. I don't see it. She's a fantastic talent. That was what you said. Yeah.
Now fans are out here connecting dots fast, and a lot of them believe the rumor Pimp C supposedly had was about him at all, but allegedly involved Jay-Z and Beyonce. That claim alone had people talking heavy, especially with how long this rumor has been floating around. Some versions of the story even push it further, suggesting the tapes recorded before Beyonce was legally an adult, which makes the whole situation way more serious and controversial if true. That's why people keep digging to old timelines and interviews, trying to figure out what really happened back then. This is where Maze stepped into the picture. Maze and Pimp C were both active during the same era, late 90s into the early 2000s, and around that time UGK teamed up with Jay-Z on Big Pimpin'. So all the names being connected as same stuff before. According to what's being said, Maze allegedly heard about room tape from Diddy himself. But when Maze got pressed on whether he actually knows that tape exists, he didn't confirm anything directly, and instead said, "I'm saving my takes for the documentary," which only made people more curious. Now that response had people wonder if Maze is planning something big, maybe even a full documentary digging into Diddy, Jay-Z, or both. It got the same kind of energy people saw when other major industry stories started getting exposed. Now expectations are rising fast, and here's where things take a darker turn. Because some people online are trying to link this whole situation to Pimp C's death. If you go around social media, you'll see theories claim that this rumor tape could be connected to what happened to him, even though nothing has been proven. Pimp C passed away on December 4th, 2007, which also happens to be Jay-Z's birthday, a detail that keeps getting brought up in these conversations. Official report ruled his death as accidental, but speculation hasn't stopped, especially for people who believe there's more to the story. He was staying at the Monterey Hotel in West Hollywood and was scheduled to travel home that same day. His wife, Chiara, and his cousin Ed were waiting at the airport, but when he didn't hear from him, concerns started building quickly. After Chiara contacted the hotel, staff checked his room and found him unresponsive. The official cause is listed as accidental overdose involving cough syrup, combined with complications from sleep apnea. But despite that, debates and theories continued to spread online. But here's where things really start to feel off, because a lot of details just don't line up with the official story. First, people pointed out that the hotel camera supposedly stopped working that same day, which immediately raised eyebrows. It's one of those situations that still question how cameras always seem to fail at those convenient times. Then things got even more intense when DJ Paul from Rick Mafia spoke on what he heard from Pimp C's manager, Rick Martin. According to Martin, he was actually at the scene and saw everything firsthand, and what he described didn't match the official explanation at all. Martin claimed the hotel room looked completely torn up, like there was serious damage all over the place. He even suggested it looked like there were marks that didn't make sense for an accidental situation. That alone had people questioning how it lines up with a report that would give it to the public. And it did stop there, because Martin also described how Pimp C's body was positioned in a way that shocked people. He said it looked like he was placed in a kneeling position, almost like he was praying, with candles around him that had burned all the way down, which only added to the mystery. He explained this, saying he was lying down like he was praying, but at the same time there were signs of serious injury, and blood was present, which made the whole scene confusing and hard to explain. The candles being fully burned made it seem like he had been there for a while, since he was known to light those tall candles when he slept. That detail about the position has made a lot of people speculate, wondering if it was meant to send some kind of message, especially since Pimp C was known for being outspoken and not backing down. People online had tin and started building their own theories around what it could mean. Some people tried to connect symbolism to artists like Jay-Z and Beyonce, pointing to how they themselves publicly, but it's important to note that these are interpretations and not confirmed facts. Still, the conversation keeps growing and more voices jump in with their own opinions. Jaguar Wright also added fuel to the situation by directly accusing Jay-Z of being connected to Pimp C's death, along with making other serious claims about the industry. None of those accusations have been proven. They definitely kept the spotlight on this story and pushed even more people to question what really happened.
He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life identity, and took his love. I'm saying, John Carter, you're a piece of shit. Making Pimp C had enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every gangster in Houston.
Even people closest to Pimp C weren't fully convinced by the official explanation, and that alone says a lot. When family starts questioning what really happened, it keeps the conversation live and makes people look at the situation differently. According to journalist Julie Burley, who wrote Pimp C's biography, his own mother strongly believed her son didn't pass away by accident. She was convinced someone responsible for taking his life, and that had only added more weight to all the theories still circulating today.
His mom believes he was murdered, and she basically breaks down the reasons why she believes that. But a lot of people heard that he died of a overdose, which is not true at all. It was actually, the day he passed, or the day that the results of the test were not announced, the coroner said, he not overdosed. And they had a newspaper that said they did overdose. So there is actually a person of interest, according to his mother, that she believed had something to do with that. So I wasn't able to really definitively come to a conclusion, but I laid out all the facts.
At the end of the day, there's still no solid proof that Pimp C ever had a copy of any rumor tape involving Jay-Z and Beyonce, or the end tape like that even exists. There's also no confirmed evidence linking Jay-Z to Pimp C's passing, and that part needs to be clear no matter how wild theories get. But that hasn't stopped fans from holding on to suspicions. A lot of people are convinced there's something deep going on, and they keep pointing to small details that feel don't add up. One fan even questioned why Beyonce had performed for years but never brings out that track with Bun B, saying it feels intentional and worth looking at. Others take it even further, throwing out heavy claims and trying to connect timelines and events in their own way. You've got people saying things like Jay-Z sacrificed Pimp C, even though there's no proof behind that, showing just how far some of these theories have gone. Then you look at everything stacked together, and you can see why the conversation keeps growing. May staying quiet and saying he's saving it for a documentary has people locked in, wondering what he might reveal. Add in the rumors about what Diddy allegedly shared, the questions around that supposed tape, and different versions of who's even in it, and just keep building. On top of that, people point to the timeline, day Pimp C's death, the fighting with Jay-Z's birthday, the reports about the hotel cameras, the details from those who were close to the situation. Even his own mother believed it wasn't an accident, which keeps Owens and questions running high. Still, it's important to separate confirmed facts from speculation, because right now, a lot of this remains unproven and based on what he believes rather than what's verified. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think was really going on behind all this? Do you think there's more to the story, or is this just rumors getting out of control? Drop your thoughts, comment, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to break down this.
In God's country. That's what's who. It's what, what happened.
People are curious how a guy you sold how many?
20 million.
He made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Who ended up in here?
I think everyone who's watching knows how I ended up there.
I don't know if they do.
I'm pretty sure they do.
All part of this Epstein file. Uncle Luke had Jay-Z on the couch, and he had the girl out there freaking off while he was watching and everything. She could take it out.
Conspiracy against me? No, because in the absence of truth, bullshit will prevail.
DMX tried to warn us. DMX was speaking out against the industry a long time ago. Check this out.
Just to run the industry, I'm not an industry artist. I'm not in the industry. So do it. It's not even fish me. The industry. What's it? Knew how to sell it.
DMX is warning about Jay-Z. It's hitting different now. For years, DMX made it clear he didn't trust that man, not even a little. And with everything surfacing, it feels like he saw through the shine, the power moves, and the polished image way before anyone else did. While headlines stay locked on DMX's legal battles, most people ignored the deeper message he kept slipping in between interviews and songs. He wasn't just venting, he was talking about the music industry. It was something dark, something calculated. When DMX spoke about being the devil, he wasn't joking around or being poetic. He meant it, literally. He believed something evil stepped into his life, offering deals in exchange for his soul. And he didn't hold back when named names. From Jay-Z to high-level executive pulling strings behind the curtain, DMX pointed at power structure and said it was bigger than rap. Now, with newly released files making rounds, people are rethinking those old interviews. Jay-Z's name shows up twice in connection to serious investigations. That alone has folks raising eyebrows. There's an FBI intake report that appears to mention Jay, alongside Harvey Weinstein and Epstein. Then there's email from former Barley CEO Jay Staley, where he told Epstein that wealthy elites didn't have to worry about black protesters because they had been involved by Jay-Z. That's two separate references on Jay-Z's name to powerful circles that operate behind closed doors. DMX spent years warning about hidden networks and industry gatekeepers who control careers like chess pieces. And notice this, when he started speaking more openly about how the system worked, his radio presence faded fast. 1 minute, he's ruling the charts. Next minute, he was barely getting spins. Then he blamed his personal struggles, but the timing raised questions. Every comeback attempt seemed to hit a wall at the exact moment he got too outspoken. And then, just when he was clean, focused, and back to the studio making new music, he was suddenly gone. Official report said it was an overdose, but a lot of people still question that story. This pattern feels familiar. Artists who speak out, especially about spiritual truths or shitty business practices, often seem to get pushed aside or erased. DMX wasn't scared to talk about God, the devil, or what he believed was a dark agenda inside the industry. That boldness made him a problem for powerful people.
Curious how a guy you sold how many?
20 million.
And made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
How did it end up in here?
I think everyone who's watching knows how I ended up there.
I don't know if they do.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Back in 2007, DMX performed The Industry on HBO's F Poetry Jam. That wasn't just poetry, it was a warning shot. On that stage, he broke down how artists manipulate, pressure, and push to compromise who they are just to stay in the game. He wasn't whispering either. He said it with his chest.
I'm saying that silly flips on my relationship with industry. This is what it is. Often, my words fall on deaf ears. Because listening, but don't hear. Talk to me, nigga, be right here.
Yeah. Thank you.
He went deeper in contrast and label drama. DMX talked about a spiritual war happening behind the scenes in entertainment. In interviews and in his music, he made it clear dark wasn't just about money or fame. He believed that was real. He claimed certain people in business tapping into negative energy, doing rituals, chasing power to save face and stay young, and guiding artists down the same road. That heavy stuff.
Whenever I write something, fall close to God. And I stayed in the song. So now I'm closer to God. But being closer to his heart, the attack is stronger. Become much harder to fight and less on. What is all with that? Joy, pain, dark, light, sun, to rain. So much respect against something pain. Look the good and the bad. Not something pain.
X said he refused. When he turned it down, he began warning others about what he saw as the devil moving through the industry. After that, things shifted. In September 2013, DMX appeared on the Dr. Phil show. He opened up about his life, legal issues, money problems, and personal struggles. But he also talked about spiritual battles and hidden layers in the industry. Dr. Phil brought up one of his lyrics, "Mow the grass to see the snakes," and that sparked a deeper conversation about DMX's faith. X explained that every album he created included a conversation with God. For him, music wasn't just entertainment. It was a fight between light and darkness, playing out in real time.
I want to take a look at some of the lyrics from your song, Who We Be. I think you like these lyrics. The hurt, the pain, the dirt, the rain, the jerk, the fame, the work, the game.
I like you said. Yeah. Did it.
The friends, the foes, the bins, the hoes, these studios, the chefs. Why don't you do read? I like
Studio
playing
shows comes and goes. Jealousy, envy, phony, friendly. When they gave him slugs, when they put him in snakes to grass. Too long to see. The mama was sitting by accident.
Then Dr. Phil asked him straight about the 3 times he said he ran into the devil. DMX didn't dodge it. He said, if you really want to understand this world, you have to see both sides.
It's right there, it's grass and seasons.
So you write
everything I think.
I mean, that's you write all your songs.
All of mine. I wouldn't be able to call something hard stuff I didn't write.
You had, I guess I would call it gospel song, or certainly
song and a conversation on every
on every album. Lord, give me a sign. I put some of those lyrics out.
He explained the devil doesn't show up looking evil. The offers look good, the promises sound sweet, but there's always price hiding the fine print.
Tell me what these lyrics are. What they
that's a conversation. I need to talk to you. Last time we talked, it's always been hard. But I know you have left me, but I feel like I'm home. I'm a big buddy now, but I'm still not wrong. Still going through it. Pain and hurt. So now I'm like pain and dirt. And I know I can stop the pain with the minute I'm saving. Remember Jesus. A lot of people I go through trying to make it do. But I used to do all that stuff right here. All the Lords in my life, I'll have no fear. I'll know no pain from light to the dark. I'll know no shame right from the heart, because it's right from the heart that you held down, and nothing they can tell me now. Oh, give me a sign.
And this wasn't a one-time story.
You had a song on every album, Conversation with God. You've had
and a prayer.
And a prayer. And I think you've had three conversations with the devil. Why with the devil?
Well, to make fair decisions, I think you have to be aware of both sides and our approach. So, of course, I had an opposition. It doesn't mean I rode with him. Sure. Or believe him. I just was able to recognize about what he said and we offered me. Oh, now I know you. That's why I stopped talking about it out. Snaps. He's on me.
In a 2009 interview from jail in Arizona, DMX said he met the devil in what he called God country. First, Arizona felt peaceful. The sunrise looked spiritual, almost healing. But then something shifted. He described experiencing something that deeply disturbed him. He connected that place to a spiritual battle and said he would never go back there again. Now here's the question. Was he speaking in metaphor, or did he believe it was a real confrontation? DMX constantly spoke against powerful executives and artists he felt were chasing fame at any cost. But when he mentioned Arizona, some people wondered what happened there. Did someone approach him with a deal, a warning, pressure to fall in line? Those are questions people still debate. Arizona has a reputation for wide open land, privacy, and extreme isolation. Just across the border in Mexico sits pristine Zorro Ranch, a location that's raised many public questions over years. The stories connected to that place have made headlines and sparked intense discussion. That alone adds another layer people can't ignore. The Southwest is also known for older private rehab centers. Some are praised for helping people rebuild their lives. Others have faced criticism of strict control, heavy medication, and isolation tactics. DMX went through rehab in that region multiple times. So people ask, was it just treatment, or did he feel pressure to stay quiet? After Arizona, after what he described as an encounter with the devil, his tone seemed even more intense. He said he would never go back. That long time you ever happened in Arizona shook to core. It was just a bad memory. It clearly left a mark on. And keep this in mind. The people DMX criticized weren't small players. He was pointing at major power figures, the gatekeepers, the ones people believe move things behind closed doors, including Jay-Z. In 2004, Jay-Z became president of Def Jam. At that point, DMX had already dropped 5 straight #1 albums. He was unstoppable. But once Jay stepped into that top position, DMX claimed his 6th album, Year of the Dog, again, didn't get the push it deserved. He felt it was blocked. Why would that happen? Some believe Jay wanted a clear path. No competition be the near throne. That's when DMX reportedly started seeing things differently. He felt Jay would do whatever it took to stay on top, even if it meant stepping over someone who once stood beside him. That realization hit hard, and soon after, X walked away from Def Jam. The disrupt didn't stop the label politics. DMX also questioned the company Jay kept behind the scenes. Both men changed hip-hop forever, no doubt about that, but they moved in totally different ways. DMX constantly spoke about record labels, controlling artists, presenting deals that looked good on paper but came with heavy strings attached. He warned about contracts that trap people.
Now, your issues with the industry. What's going on with the industry? The industry is full of a bunch of dick sucking, dick riding, bitches with a death ass next strap like that. Who don't get bring it, nigga? Bring it. I don't give a fuck. Bring it. Bring it, bitch.
Well, the industry is full of homo hate ass niggas. I mean, it's like they this new breed rapper.
that's paying DJs play their shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? They sucking the record label executive says that there's too much of that going on. Right. They said, let me be me. Let me be the artist that I am and motherfuck music. You know what I mean? Exactly. Now, they want you all part of this. You know, sitting at the going to dinner with them and shit like that, and you know all that favor shit. I don't get that like the local. Give me money. That's it.
While DMX projected what he saw as the darker side of the business, G was rising within the system. From early on, he was welcomed into powerful rooms, getting influence, getting a voice at executive tables. To some, that looked like success. To others, raised eyebrows. Two legends, two paths, and a divide that only grew deeper over time. But really why the gap between DMX and Jay-Z wasn't just business, it was belief. DMX moved off faith, raw emotion, and what he felt was a high calling. Jay moved like a strategist, calm, calculated, always 10 steps ahead. To X, that difference meant everything. He saw the industry as a spiritual battlefield, while others saw it as a power game to master. As Jay-Z's influence kept growing, partnerships spended, billion-dollar deals rolled in, and corporate alliances stacked up. From fashion to sports agencies to luxury brands, Jay became the face of elevation in hip-hop. But critics have pointed out that rising that high usually means working closely with powerful institutions. For DMX, that closeness to elite circles may have looked like compromise. He often warned that when artists get too comfortable with executives and global power players, independence fades fast. There were also whispers about how artists were treated behind closed doors. DMX spoke openly about contracts that box people in, about creative control being stripped away. He believed many artists didn't even realize what they were signing till it was too late. Meanwhile, Jay prayed for master those same contracts and eventually become the one offering them. That contrast created tension people couldn't ignore. Still, it's important to remember that much of his life in interpretation. DMX shared his truth as he saw it. Jay-Z has built legacy many admire. The clash between a man who believes he's fighting spiritual darks and a man who thrives inside corporate power structure will always hard to beat. Two icons, two visions, and a story that keeps getting louder as time passes. There's been a lot of speculation that power became priority above everything else, even above loyalty. Some people believe that when the stakes get that high, friendship turned into strategy. And that's where many say the real divide between DMX and Jay showed up. So was DMX trying to warn us? When he talked about those 3 run-ins with the devil, was he hinting at specific individuals, specific circles? He constantly spoke about hidden networks and powerful figures moving in silence. Now Jay-Z's name had appeared in widely discussed documents connected to the Epstein investigation. Even if only references, people are connecting dots and ask questions. Are those connections meaningful or just coincidence? That's the debate. We may never hit the full story, but one thing stands out. DMX believed he darkness operated behind fame fortune, and he wasn't afraid to speak on it. Years later, those warnings hit different. His words feel heavier now. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think DMX was specifically talking about Jay-Z, or is he speaking more broadly about the system and powerful networks in general? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure you like, subscribe, share this video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.
Jay-Z, what you doing? What you doing? So what Hov is, we should change his name on all the streaming platforms to Jay-Z 2 dots.
I'm saying it from my heart. I mean, I take advantage. I didn't get hit by taking advantage of people. I take it with no one. No one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do.
Yeah, not as good as I'm looking these days, but you know, she's looking good out there. And them two, he's running with numbers. She don't got numbers.
So Jay-Z just switched his name again, and yeah, his PR is out here saying it's all about celebrating 30 years of his love. But people are not buying that story at all, and Mace definitely isn't either. To him, this isn't some celebration. It's everything finally crashing down, just like he's been calling out for years. Mace is basically looking at the whole situation like, I told you so. For 2 decades, he's been talking, and now it's all playing out in real time, right in front of everybody. Jay-Z has been catching heat from all sides lately. Epstein Files rumor, the Harvey Weinstein connection, and even that GQ interview that came off so off-key, it had fans turning on him. And now, out of nowhere, there's a name-changing mix. That's people raising eyebrows fast. Mace is handing on it, warning Jay, saying his moment's coming. And from the way they're unfolding, it's starting to look real loud.
You'll be what you want to believe. Or, you know, people behave the way they want to behave.
That's
who you was for you got here. Just make up your person.
So first, let's break down what this even matters to Mace, because this isn't random at all. It's actually real simple when you look at it. Mace was one of the first in hip-hop called Jay-Z out for exactly what people are questioning today. Everything Jay-Z is dealing with now, Mace was already talking about it nearly 20 years ago, and that's why he's feeling extra right now. Take it back to 1997. Mace was running the game at that point. Harlem World went 4-time platinum. He had chart-topping record, and the whole bad boy wave pushing him heavy. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was still trying to find his feet with reasonable doubt, struggling to even hit gold status at the time. That's when Mace fired his first shot on Love Me. He came direct, basically saying, oh, we hear platinum this, platinum that. No guy no platinum hit. He was calling Jay out for talking big about the numbers to match it, and people definitely caught that energy. But it didn't stop the music. It got more personal, too. There was another layer to this situation, and her name is Arian. She showed up in Harlem World where Mace mixes his girlfriend names, but in real life, Arian had ties to Jay-Z's circle. That didn't sit right with Jay at all, and that tension just added more heat to an already brewing situation.
There was a young lady named Ariana that was in the shed, and it was done really honestly. At the time I was 19 years old, so I was just trying to create a vibe and show people what Harlem's like, from a real Harlem perspective. And it's just she wanted to do it, so I let her do it. At that time I didn't know she was one of his guys' baby mom or something like that.
So after Mace checked Jay on that track with 112, Jay-Z stayed quiet. He came right back on Ride or Die with a slick line. Tell Mace to check your own video. You'll always be number 2. That line wasn't random at all. It was a direct shot at Mace standing behind D in the Can't Nobody Hold Me Down video, rocking that number 2 jersey while Puff had number 1 spot. They would basically sing a message, saying Mace would always play the background, never the main role. That alone had people talking, but there's a deeper layer most don't even bring up. According to Dipset's 40 Cal, it didn't just stay on wax either. He claimed Jay-Z actually pulled up on Mace in Harlem, trying to make a statement, face and show who really had control.
About 20 minutes later, Jay-Z pulls up in a 4.6 range. He always talked about. He hopped out. Let me say, yeah, all that cool, but who are you talking about on that song when you check your own video numbers? The day was like, Everybody know I'm talking about you.
Now, fast forward to 1999, and this is where things take a wild turn. He stepped away from the industry right at his peak, shocked everybody watching. There were claims that Diddy tried to pull him into situations he wasn't comfortable with. That won't change everything for him. Mace was so shaken by what he experienced, and the names he says were involved, that he completely switched paths. He turned to faith, became pastor, and walked away from the spotlight, the whole system that once made a star. Meanwhile, Jay-Z stayed in that world, kept a close relationship with Diddy for years. Now look at how things are lining up 2026. Diddy is locked up, Jay-Z's name being mentioned in major discussions, and suddenly there's a name change in the middle of all this. People started noticing it quick. If you search Jay on Apple Music, Tidal, or even YouTube, something looked different. Why now has two dots over it? His team saying it's just tribute to Reasonable Doubt turning 30, but not everyone is convinced. A lot of people online are comparing this move to what Diddy used to do, switching names during different moments in his career. From Puff Daddy to P. Diddy to Diddy Moore, every shift had people talking. And now Jay-Z is raising the same kind of questions. One friend even said, I was trying to make yourself hard to hoop, and that comment spread fast. Because at the end of the day, people are looking past the name and focusing on the bigger picture. You can switch names all you want, but your past doesn't just disappear. And right now, all eyes are locked in on Jay-Z. Jay-Z's name didn't just come up once in those files, it showed up twice, and that's why people are paying close attention. The first mention came from an FBI intake report where one claimed he woke up the room with Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z. That alone had people raising serious questions, but that's only part of the story. Here's where it gets even deeper, and this is the part a lot of mainstream coverage barely touches. There was another document tied to the file, an email from former Barclays CEO Jeff Daly to Epstein, dated February 3rd, 2014. In that email, Daly was talking about anti-corruption protests happening in Brazil, and he made bold claim that something like that would happen in the U.S. Why? Because according to him, certain communities had been influenced through celebrity culture, and he specifically mentioned Jay-Z in that context. The email even said, you want to know why we are not Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. Then it goes on about hip blacks and hip cars with white women, painting this picture of how advertising is used to shape perception and keep people distracted. So what's really being suggested here, the idea is that big media and marketing push certain images to make everything look smooth and successful, even when deeper issues are still there. And in that conversation, Jay-Z's name gets brought up as part of that influence, which is why people are connecting dots right now. And this is where some critics start tying in later events too. People still remember how things played out with Colin Kaepernick. After he took a knee, faced a major backlash from the NFL, Jay-Z led partnered with the league as part of a social justice initiative. That move had mixed reactions, especially when Jay-Z said, we're past healing, let's move on. That line stuck with people. And now, all these older emails and claims resurfacing, adding more layers to how some are turning his role in bigger systems.
I think we passed kneeling. I think it's time to go into action items. I think everyone knows the issue is. We've done that. Everyone knows that. You know what the issue is? You know why we're kneeling? Okay, you know the issue? Yeah, you know the issue? Yes, we all know the issue now.
Then, fast forward to September 2025, and this moment had people talking heavy. Jay-Z and Beyonce were spotted sitting at the same table as Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner at a Reform Alliance event. And here's the key detail. This is Jay-Z's own organization, which means he wasn't random at all. He could have sat anywhere, with anyone, but he chose the table. That decision had people asking real questions. I sit down with Trump's daughter and son-in-law like everything is normal. For a lot of critics, the answer is simple. It's about power and class. Once you reach the billionaire level, the rules change and alliances start looking different. The argument people are making is that Jay-Z has more in common with elite circles than with everyday people watching all this unfold. The image of being the voice of the streets starts to look different when moments like this pop up. Jay-Z has always positioned himself as someone who can move between two worlds, the culture and the corporate side. Now people question who really benefits from that position. When movements happen, some feel like his message leans towards staying in the system instead of pushing against it. You saw that conversation come up again on major protests and social movement, and it be brought back now with everything resurfacing. Critics are saying he steps in during key moments and shifts the energy toward patience, process, and working inside established structures. And then there's that GQ interview, which added even more fuel to conversation. People straight away, it felt soft, like tough questions were missing. Interviewer did bring up Diddy, didn't press on no file, and kept things surface level the whole time. Jay-Z briefly mentioned that lawsuit that got dismissed and called it heartbreaking, but people also noticed what wasn't said. There was no deep discussion about his long-standing connection with Diddy, and no acknowledgement of others involved in those wider conversations, which only made critics look closer at the whole situation.
Really hard. I was heartbroken. I've been at anger in a long time. Uncontrolled anger. Like, you don't put that on someone. Like, that's a thing that you better be super sure. It was like a testament because people know me. Like, I know you are, and that's impossible.
And here's another detail that caught people off guard. The lawyer who handled that lawsuit for Jay-Z, Alex Spiro, was also mentioned in those same files, which only made the situation look even more complicated. Then during that interview, when speaking to criticism of billionaire, Jay didn't hold back. He said, it's a cop-out demonizing rich people, brushing off backlash completely. And on top of that, he made it clear he believes he's never taken advantage of anyone, despite all the conversations happening around him.
I didn't take advantage. I get here by taking advantage of people. I didn't take advantage of no one. No one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do. I get here by taking advantage of people or taking advantage of, the loopholes in the system or some wrinkle in the capitalist structure. That structure exists. And I just see the world for what it is, not what I want it to be. I'm a realist, not idle. It's not idealist.
And then Jay-Z jumped into Kendrick's great situation with take that people side-eyeing him. He said the whole beat went too far, like he was calling for things to cool down. The comment did sit right with everyone, especially with everything else going on around him, and it only added more reactions to his name.
So much negative stuff that comes with it, he almost wish it didn't happen. Really? Yeah, because it's almost like the final thing. Now, people that can hate Drake, no matter what he makes, man, what he says, and it goes far too, it's like attack on his character and his thing. It's like, I don't know.
But wait a second, this is where people really started calling things out. Didn't Jay-Z personally choose Kendrick to headline Super Bowl, knowing he had that track aimed at Drake, calling him a file in PDF format? Now suddenly he's saying things got negative. That whip had people looking at him sideways. But what really made people uncomfortable came later in the interview. They started talking about being untouchable, tying it back to his Hoff nickname, which comes from Jehovah, a name of God in the Bible. And that didn't sit right with a lot of listeners at all.
What? Oh, Jay-Z. or do speak to
I'm not even sure who told Jay-Z that interview was a good idea, because it didn't help his image at all. It made everything worse. The way he came off had people talking crazy online, called him arrogant, out of touch, and not in reality. Social media wasted no time reacting either. A lot of people are saying they're no longer buying into that polished black excellent image he's been pushing for years. One user on X summed it up perfectly, saying Jay-Z tries to sell black capitalism as well as if it benefits everyone. And that message man waits to. That same boat when he claims whole brand line of ideas he supposedly stands against. The argument is that his message about success sounds a lot like that. Pull yourself up and make on your own mindset, which he feels ignores big systemic issues. Critics now questioning what any really meant in his world. To them, it looked like success was always tied to moving closer to his circle. And that's why some are connecting his image to wealth and power with the culture. And beyond all that up without sending in that GQ interview in 2026, a lot of people are saying it feels like a major disconnect. Like cultural icon who once spoke for the people but now sounds removed from them completely. But now I want to hear from you. What did you think about that interview? And how do you feel about the ancient? Do you think all of this timing is just coincidence, or is there more going on behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video, and stay locked in for what's coming next.
Beyonce couldn't get pregnant. Honestly, not normally. What I do know is this. When Beyonce got on that stage with the fake baby bump, Blue don't have Beyonce, no. She just light skinned. I always thought it was kind of weird how she did. Zipple, C2 something. No, that girl started to look like eyes, the cheekbones, the jawline, the sudden. See, I know. You know what happened to Corey.
Jay-Z is looking real uneasy right now. After 50 Cent dropped hints about the identity connected to the child Kathy White was reportedly carrying before her mysterious death, the internet went wild. Word on the street says 50 is planning to break everything down in full detail during the second part of his documentary coming next year, and people are already bracing themselves. For a while now, fingers have been pointing straight at Jay-Z, with rumors claiming was somehow tied Kathy's death. Reports floating around online say that when her body was found, there were shocking irregularities that raised serious questions. People online called it dark, disturbing, and beyond unsettling, and details being discussed only made it sound even more twisted. Before 50 Cent brought all this back into the spotlight, the story's already resurfacing because of troubling tweet from well-known journalist Liz Crow. This happened around the time D was first arrested, and words instantly caught attention. But even before that, Liz tweeted back in 2017 hinting that Jay may have been involved in what happened to Kathy. She wrote, "When Kanye West says Jay-Z has life tickers, I believe he's talking about the people who took out Kathy White." That tweet sat unnoticed for years. Now here's the wild part. Liz shared that message back in 2017, long before anyone was publicly accusing Jay of anything like this. But after the chaos surrounding Diddy, she resurfaced the tweet and added double quotes, leaving everyone shocked and demanding answers. First off, no date, because this part matters a lot. One tweet lit the internet on fire when Liz Hogan directly called out Jay-Z in a way that had everyone stunned. She wrote, "Hey Jay-Z, I was a reporter who took your alleged mistress right before she died / was bleed. I know everything. I know what you did. Go at yourself. Your time's coming. Maybe you and Diddy can share a prison cell. Justice is coming." She's there adding, "It's only a matter of time for a beer cook." That alone had people shook. But she went even further, saying Jesus been exposed just like Diddy. She referenced Kanye's past comment and claimed there's a reason Kanye said Jay got murdered. I wouldn't know. He's evil to the core. I pray there will be justice for Kathy one day. The false idols will continue to fall. Mark my words. Those who grabbed everyone's attention fast and sent people think deep. After that, the internet went in full detective mode, trying to piece together what really happened to Kathy around the time of her death. According to official facts, her autopsy ruled the cause as a brain aneurysm. However, for years now, speculation has been floating around online that powerful people may have influenced the report to prevent further scrutiny. None of this has been proven, but the rumors spread like wildfire. Things escalated when a blogger, Hollywood King, who first reported on the alleged affair, launched a private investigation to uncover more details about Kathy's death. When he shared his finding, he was allegedly pressured to take the article down. Still, screenshots had already been saved and started circulating everywhere online. Those images made their way across social media fast, and people reposted them nonstop. The article reportedly began with, "Yesterday, I got the news that Kathy Michelle White had suddenly passed away." And just like that, the controversy exploded all over again. So I quickly began my investigation, and guess what? Kathy did not die from a brain aneurysm like the internet kept pushing. This was reported after an NYPD detective allegedly revealed that Kathy's cause of death was still uncertain at the time. According to that source, the case was already being treated as suspicious, and they were waiting on both autopsy and toxicology reports to get clear answers. Here's where it gets even crazier. Kathy White passed away exactly 1 year to the day after the story about alleged affair with Jay-Z first. A 911 call reportedly came in from an apartment at 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Paramedics arrived, found Kathy unwell, and rushed her to Beth Israel Hospital, where she later passed away. At that point, it was way too early to lock the brain aneurysm. The official cause. An autopsy was scheduled to determine what really happened, long toxicology tests in case something harmful involved. Those results were expected to about 2 weeks, leaving a lot of unanswered questions hanging in the air. Things getting more intense when you look at what happened shortly before her death. About 2 weeks earlier, Kathy had contacted by a major tabloid digging into her alleged connection with Jay-Z. She reportedly didn't give them much, but one source claimed that after that call, she reached out to Jay directly and told him she planned to go public with the affair for a price. All of a sudden, unfolded the same short-time window. Then, just over 48 hours after news spoke, Beyonce was pregnant with Jay's child. Kathy suddenly died under circumstances people online immediately started questioning. The article also mentioned photos showing Claudia Jordan and Kathy partying with Jay at a club months before Kathy's death. Apparently, Kathy and Claudia were close friends, and it was Claudia who allegedly introduced Kathy to Jay in the first place. Because of alleged threats, Hollywood's King claimed he couldn't continue pushing the investigation and was forced to drop it entirely, leaving the story unfinished and the mystery even deeper. But then Jaguar Wright stepped in and picked up right where the story was left, dragging this whole situation straight into chaos. She publicly claimed that Kathy didn't pass away from a brain aneurysm at all, but instead alleged that something far more sinister happened inside private residence. Jaguar went as far as accusing Jay-Z of being involved, claiming Melody played a role because of Kathy's alleged relationship with Jay.
Was taken in Philly. she actually died screaming, and the Carters are responsible. Well, one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. The question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand's sake. I mean, just speculate.
And Jaguar didn't stop there at all. He made explosive allegations saying Beyonce supposedly wasn't pregnant at the time and claimed that she was around Kathy's pregnancy raised serious questions. These claims spread fast online, even though none of them have been proved, and they immediately shocked a lot of people. Jaguar also alleged there was damaged evidence in circulation claiming that they supposedly possessed Bush connected to Kathy's final days. Again, these dates were presented as allegations, but they poured gasoline on an already raised fire.
So that what you say?
What's Corey? I'm talking about Kathy White.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z had an
Jay-Z's?
interest
Yeah.
who died an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who's best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote book Bling and died as soon as it made bestsellers list.
But the rumors kept piling up. Some people online even speculate that Beyonce's song Daughter was a hidden confession explaining how and why Kathy White died. That theory took fast, with listeners dissecting lyrics and drawing their own conclusions, even though there's no proof backing it up. Of course, once those theories started spreading, people brought up the infamous deflated pregnancy moment. This happened during a televised interview when Beyonce appeared to sit down and her baby bump visibly shifted on camera. That single moment fueled years of speculation, with critics claiming it looked unnatural. Supporters quickly pushed back, saying camera angles, clothing, and movement can easily create misleading visuals. Still, that clip has never stopped circulating online, and people continue to debate it non-stop.
But this time exposed to some, even caught us by surprise. Here is again, slowed down. As Beyonce sits down with Molly Meldrum, her dress folds.
Surrogate because she wanted her body for this dress.
Whether true or not, these claims turned that story into one of the most talked about controversial mysteries tied to celebrity culture, and the internet refuses to let it go. And just when people thought the story could get any louder, the internet went in full meltdown mode again. Bloggers, live streamers, and comment sections were flooded with theory, timelines, and side-by-side clips, all trying to connect dots surrounding Kathy White's death. Every old interview, lyric, and photo suddenly became evidence in the court of public opinion. What really pushed this situation into overdrive was how many people claimed the timeline simply didn't sit right. Online sleuths started lining up dates, public appearances, and announcements, saying sequence of events raised serious questions. Nothing's proven, but the chatter exploded anyway, and the rumors moved faster than facts. At the same time, supporters of Jay-Z and Beyonce fired back hard. They called the claim reckless, misleading, and straight up dangerous. Many point out that viral speculation can spiral out of control and hurt real people, especially when there's no verified proof behind the accusations. Still, that didn't stop the streets from talking. Podcasts and YouTube channel kept revisiting Kathy's name, repeating the same question over and over. Why did this story keep resurfacing every few years? And why does it always get louder instead of fading away? Others claim the science from certain insiders only made things look stranger. People asked why no clear, detailed explanation ever shut the rumor down for good. Every unanswered question just added more heat to the situation. One thing is clear though, Kathy White's name has become permanently tied to one of the most controversial celebrity mysteries online. Whether it's rumored, half-truths, or wild speculation, the story refuses to disappear. And as old clips keep resurfacing and new voices keep chiming in, this messy saga stays alive, louder than ever, with internet still demanding answers that may never come. And when it comes to 50 Cent, he stayed quiet publicly about Kathy, but word on the street says Jay-Z's name is expected to come up in the upcoming documentary. 50 has already said the project is dropping next year, and it's supposed to include information nobody's heard before, along with legendary side Jay-Z and Kathy. According to online chatter, some reviews are being hyped as explosive enough to raise serious questions about the original investigation. Some people are even claiming could pressure authorities to take another look at the case, though nothing like that has been confirmed. And there's the rumor mill spinning out of control again. Based on what Jaguar Wright claimed, some internet users are speculating about the identity of Kathy's child. That speculation has dragged Blue's name into the conversation, even though there is no proof backing that theory at all.
And I know, 50, the way you run, this cannot be all that you have. Is there other stuff that you just have not shown?
Yeah, well, everything connected. It's only for episodes.
Right.
So it's a lot, you have to pick and choose things. Like even in an area where he chooses to date people who he knows previously did someone, he has a baby by a woman that was dating Tupac.
Wow.
To add to it, but we had to cut it down. So
Okay. So you come out, I know next year's gonna be a number 2. Season 2.
Just put it on YouTube.
I just put it on YouTube. Well, we can subscribe yet.
As expected, people online had plenty today. One commenter claimed the little girl got the shape of Kathy's whole head and jawline. She doesn't look anything like Beyonce. They want to believe it. Another wrote, you heard the lyrics of that song, Daughter by Beyonce? Definitely she 100% talking about Kathy. These are opinions, not facts, but they spread fast. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the rumors surrounding Jay-Z and Kathy's death? Do you leave the internet as rich, or do you think there are still unanswered questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so others can see too.
You know, what did Pimp C say on this beat? He didn't like that beat in the beginning. It was just like, hey, jig, man, that's thing too.
It knows the fuck out of me that they say shit died of drunk, because it's not how he died. You can't die from sleep apnea and die from, hey, come on.
Pimp C died in 2007. And why have we got a Pimp C documentary? Because there was a lot of strange details surrounding Pimp C. He was notorious for going on these radio stations and being whistleblower about the industry.
That make with the people sitting on
So Jay-Z just spoke about working Pimp C on Pimpin', and he made it seem like a solid relationship. He paints the whole situation as respectful, saying it was mostly love between them, even if they had a few creative disagreements along the way.
Like that beat in the beginning. It was just like, hey, jig, man, that's into fruity, man. Like, he thought he was making like the biggest commercial, like, sellout rate. And he took some chances. He still did some. We actually really.
So here we go again with Jay telling story from his side. A lot of people remember things very differently. There have been public reports over the years suggesting that he and Pimp C were never especially close, and we'll get into that in a second. And this is what just piqued attention. Some critics have made similar claims before. After DMX passed away, some people felt Jay-Z described their relationship in a much more positive way than what had been said publicly in the past. DMX only accused Jay of getting away of his album release, while others argued their relationship was far more complicated than simple competition. And after DMX's passing, some fans felt Jay's comment painted as being in much better terms than they remembered. Now, some people believe similar situations happening with Pimp C, but this time Pimp's family and people close to him have publicly pushed back. They've Pimp C wasn't a fan of Jay-Z. Some have claimed he may have known information could have caused major problems if it ever come out. Pimp C's wife, Chinara, publicly said she does not believe he died from a lean overdose as officially reported, and his mother has also publicly stated that she believes her son was poisoned. So what really happened to Pimp C, and why so many people disagree about the stories around his relationship with Jay-Z? Let's get into it.
If you get that cool, but BA and come out and be at. Don't be in front and act like straight up G, and you get over here and let me bust you back. Cause you know, it come to the light.
Chad Butler, better known as Pimp C, passed away nearly 20 years ago. People still debating exactly what happened on December 4th when he was found dead in his room at Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood. The day also happened to be Jay-Z's birthday. Detail has often been pointed out by fans. The official rulings Pimp C died from the combined effects of prescription cough syrup and medication. According to the correspondence, his death was ruled accidental. Phil said the combination of cocaine, and other factors treated respiratory depression. Even so, people have continued to question the case because a complete autopsy report has not been publicly released. Instead, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office issued a public statement saying his death involved the effects of methazine, codeine, along with other contributing factors that were not fully established. Another detail that keeps people talking is what Ed Winter, the assistant chief of the coroner's office at the time, reportedly said. He stated the levels of methazine and codeine found in Pimp C's system were elevated, but not necessarily high enough on their own to explain the death. That's the debate grows even bigger. Pimp C's wife, Nara, later publicly said she believed he'd stopped using lean and other substances. Added that, to her knowledge, he was not drinking lean on the day he passed away.
Actually, meant that you call it rehab. No, not rehab. There is a rehab. I always looked at it as, yep, rehab. I've been rehab. I barely.
But y'all come over here?
That's what we call, yeah, we just gonna smoke. In nice kind that's shit out of drinks is how they got. And
now, here's another detail that some people point to when questioning the official timeline surrounding the lean story. Chinara publicly said that Pimp C was scheduled to meet with his probation officer the very next day.
he had to come back first in the morning to pick up parole. So, so get the hell out of here. Hurry ahead.
After his release from prison in 2005, Pimp C remained on parole until December 2009. Since he passed away in December 2007, he was still under parole supervision at the time. Because of that, it's reasonable that he may have had regular meetings with his parole officer. Supporters of alternative theories have argued that if he was expecting an important meeting the following morning, it seems less likely that he would have intentionally spent the entire night drinking lean alone in his hotel room. That idea has led to speculation from some people that someone else may have been with Pimp C that night and could have played a role. However, no evidence has publicly confirmed those claims. Pimp C's mother, Westlyn Ma West Monroe, publicly said she believed her son had been poisoned by someone who was at the Mondrian Hotel that night. She shared that with journalist Julia Burley, who later wrote a biography about Pimp C. During an interview with Hot 10789, Julia also said Mama West remained completely convinced that her son's death was not an accident and believed foul play was involved.
Well, his mom believes he was, and she basically breaks down reasons why she believes that. I can really, there's some circumstantial evidence that make me like that. But a lot of people have heard that he died of cocaine overdose, which is not true at all. That was actually, the day he passed or the day the results of the test went over not announced, the coroner said, he did not overdose. And you had all the newspapers that said he did overdose. So that was just irresponsible media came up. It's one thing he was poisoned, and there was someone with him when he passed who was a very shady, strange character. So there's actually a person of interest, according to his mother, that she believes had him.
Here's where the story takes another turn. One of the people Pimp C was reportedly supposed to meet while he was in California was DJ Paul of 36 Mafia. Later, DJ Paul said he heard from Pimp manager Rick Martin that the hotel room looked far different than he expected. He also claimed Pimp was found in a praying position with candles nearby and what he described as red stains on the walls. Rick Martin was the person who identified Pimp C's body, and according to DJ Paul's account, Martin described a shocking scene. DJ Paul recalled him saying he was lying down like he was praying, but there was blood around like he was shot. They thought he was shot in the head, but they didn't know what the hell happened because there was blood everywhere. They thought he was shot. He was kneeling down like he was praying, and candles were all burnt down, so they knew he'd probably been dead for a day or so because he always lit this candle to sleep. Those statements have circulated for years, although they have not been officially confirmed by investigators because of stories like that. Many fans have questioned whether the official explanation tells the whole story. Some have even shared their own theory about the unusual details surrounding the room, but none of those ideas have been proven. The unanswered questions are a big reason the case continues to spark debate even after all these years. Long before social media became what it is today, Pimp C had built a reputation of speaking his mind without holding back. He really gave outspoken interviews, challenged people in the music business, made bold claims about what he believed was happening behind the scenes. That reputation made him one of the most talked about voices in hip-hop. Some fans believe his comments put him at odds with several influential figures, including Jay-Z. Jay has since described their relationship as respectful despite creative differences, but others have argued their disagreements went much deeper. Pimp C had publicly criticized Jay-Z on multiple occasions, including over comments involving Tupac, whom Pimp greatly respected. According to UGK's former manager, Dash even offered a large payment to get Pimp C to appear on the track. The manager claimed Pimp's response was that the money would instead given to Tupac's mother, showing just how strongly he stood by his beliefs.
Called him instantly because I knew that house. Right. I was like, yo, I'm excited. $1 million. This is it. Right for this. Take this. Called Phil and that's the fight. So I come down and he went on to him like that. He was like, wait a minute, Rockstar. Is that Jay-Z hat? I was like, yeah. I didn't get a connection. I was like, he was like, down to take that chick over to Tupac mom get to for selling out. I'm like, what?
I put him on that pop light for him.
He's been solid here too, but he went on this mission for him.
While Pimp C did eventually agree to appear on Big Pimpin', that didn't necessarily mean he and Jay-Z became close friends. People who were around the situation have described collaboration as business rather than a personal bond. The tension was reportedly real, and Bun B has said it took some serious reverse psychology just to get Pimp C to even consider doing collaboration in the first place. Even after some came success, Pimp C wasn't especially impressed. To him, it was simply business, nothing more.
Hated Bun B. We didn't have that relationship. And to be honest, I think Pimp would have accepted the verse to be of equal value to him. So let's just break this bread and be done with it. And to be honest, Pimp and Jay didn't really have a relationship in that. So there was a lot of mutual respect, but Hov and I were always close. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting the feature. You know what I'm saying? But no, it was just about, like, we worked very hard to get where we are, and we're successful now for being purely who we've always said we were. Riding dirty, most quickly playing out, we ever released, gold album out, one music video. You know what I'm saying? And to get to that point, and possibly in his mind for it all the way, because dude want to be money to do a verse or beat that you would never rap to. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like a lot. It took a lot to kind of bring him back around to the idea of being part of it, to the point where I just like reverse psychology. Like, don't do it then. Don't tell me you don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I hate people. I mean, that worked out. But Big Pimp was, not making his top UG. So,
On top of all that, there have also been rumors over the years of Pimp C and Beyonce for her relationship with Jay-Z. There have been unverified claims from Simple industry that Pimp C had private recording involving Beyonce was threatening to release it. However, none of the claims have been substantiated, and there is no public evidence confirming that story. Some fans believe the bigger issue was personal at all, but Pimp C outspoken knew about music business. He went criticized hard the industry and spoke for independent smaller artists, arguing they deserved better treatment and fair share of the money they have to generate. Scores that Beyonce's willing to challenge half industry acts made him a controversial figure, drawing comparison to other artists, such as who also publicly criticized major record labels and the way the music business operated.
Radio's been killed. We play this same all over the country. It was like that actually. You could find airplane go different places. And see you went to, they had different songs on the show everywhere else. When you look at charts and the different regions, what records was hot in different regions, it be different records. A lot of times at the number one spot, depending on what was hot in the region. When these two companies bought up all the radio stations and then started controlling all the playlists and started putting handcuffs and braces on the DJ, they stopped all that. So everywhere you go, you hear the same record playing. And they make them play it all day long. You might hear something in the mix show, there's only a few hours in the day to be able to play the records. So records you catch in the mix show, the record that the mix is trying to break. The independent dudes, you never get on play on. I mean, you know.
And then Pimp C took things a step further by publicly talking about the idea of artists organizing and having a strong collective voice. Believed musicians should have more leverage when dealing with business side of the industry. Supporters of the idea argue that greater unity among artists could shift the balance of power, help negotiate for fair treatment and better opportunities.
I'm just trying to bring them some more unity to that man. Let's watch out for the years, you know, I'm out for the man. So what we're trying to do is all come together, unionize, some stage of the game, and stop these record people taking advantage of it. Let's get working on the left as we go over each other. That's about it. As long as we want to walk, they can run south and run the industry. So we got to get about it.
And that's exactly why so many people leave Pimp C out. What afraid challenge the way parts of music industry operated, or speak up for artists he felt weren't getting a deal. Now, was Jay-Z directly involved in Pimp C's death? There's no public evidence proving that, and it wouldn't be fair to claim otherwise. What is clear is the two men were viewed very differently by many fans. Pimp C built a reputation for openly criticizing parts of the industry, while Jay-Z became one of its biggest and most successful figures. That contrast continues to spark debate to the day. What do you think about everything we covered? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with someone who follows hip-hop history, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Probably that was the first time I experienced what we tell my rappers athletes with now when you did by somebody else.
So you out for a couple of things and I laugh. What's wrong? Like, yo, man, you just so because all that.
I tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, there was guys in the time, and you know, used to be in studio. And now he has recorded, so able to get this.
Makes that with a wild claim about alleged Pimp C and Beyonce tape. Now people are looking Jay-Z's side because of it. He's basically hinting that could be the real there's hidden. Like something deeper has been singing under the surface this whole time. This rumor about Pimp C and Beyonce refused to fade out, and it's not just random blogs pushing it anymore. People inside the industry keep whispering about it, which is why it keeps popping back up and repetition again and again. So here's what's being said. Beyonce and Pimp C allegedly had a private tape way before she and Jay-Z ever went public as a couple. One first time story Pimp and Ken didn't really say her name, made clear Pimp was involved with the biggest R&B chick in the game, and that alone has people connecting dots fast.
Say who he is, but it's a real famous rapper and it's a real famous R&B chick. Okay, and a naked, he had a recording of them. I think he died with it, but he made millions of dollars. And some of the people that's higher up in rap, they would see that tape. You know what I mean? They keep crashing stuff. And it was this. I'm doing the biggest R&B chick in game.
Now this is where the story starts getting messy and people are split on what really went down. Some guys are saying Pimp and Ken weren't claiming Pimp C to tape Beyonce at all. Instead, he somehow got access to a tape that allegedly involved Jay-Z and Beyonce. That version changed everything. A lot of people that found more believable when you lined up the timeline questions that followed Jay-Z for years. The public story has always been that Jay-Z met Beyonce when she was 18 and they started dating later. But there's an old interview that doesn't quite match that up. In 2007 sit down with Carl Rose, Jay-Z said he met Beyonce 10 years ago, which would place their first meeting around 1997. Back then, Beyonce would have been about 16. Jay-Z was already close to 30. And that gap is exactly why people keep raising eyebrows up the timeline. What makes this even more suspicious to some people is what happened to the interview afterward. For a long time, you could easily find a full clip on Shirley Rose's official YouTube channel, no problem. But once these rumors and conversations started heating up again, people noted the full interview suddenly disappeared. Of course, wiping something from one place doesn't erase it completely, and clips from that same interview are still floating around online. Fans and forums have kept those pieces alive, and now they're being picked apart more than ever as people try to connect all the dots.
That's the only minor. So, but Wow, it's long. You're only one. However, she's recording. I met her. Don't remember. Yeah, I met her. I met her 10 years ago. I met her 10 years ago.
I met her 10 years ago.
Well, you years of it. Wow. She's a fantastic talent. Was that what you said? Yeah.
Now fans are out for connecting dots fast, and a lot of them believe the rumor Pimp C supposedly had was about him at all, but allegedly involved Jay-Z and Beyonce. That claim alone has people talking heavy, especially with how long this rumor has floated around. Some versions of the story even shift further, suggesting the tapes recorded before Beyonce was legally an adult, which makes the whole situation way more serious and controversial if true. That's why people keep digging to old timelines and interviews, trying to figure out what really happened back then. This is where Maze steps into picture. Maze and Pimp C were both active during the same era, late 90s and the early 2000s, and around that time, UGK teamed up with Jay-Z on Big Pimpin'. So all these names have been connected in Sim Circle 4. According to what's being said, Maze allegedly heard about Root tape from Diddy himself, but when Maze got pressed on what he actually knows that tape exists, he did confirm anything directly, and said that, "I'm saving my takes for the documentary," which only made people more curious. Now the response has people wondering if Maze is planning something big, maybe even a full documentary digging into Diddy, Jay-Z, or both. It got the same kind of energy people saw when other major industry stories started getting exposed. Now expectations are rising fast, and here's where things take a darker turn. Because some people online are trying to link this whole situation to Pimp C's dad. If you look around social media, you'll see theories claiming that this rumor tape could be connected to what happened to him, even though nothing had been proven. Pimp C passed away on December 4th, 2007, which also happens to be Jay-Z's birthday, a detail that keeps getting brought up in these conversations. Official reports ruled his death as accidental, but speculation hasn't stopped, especially people who believe there's more to the story. He was staying at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood and was scheduled to travel home that same day. His wife, Chiara, and his husband, Ed, were waiting at the airport, but when he didn't hear from him, concerns started building quickly. After Chiara contacted the hotel, staff checked his room and found him unresponsive. The official cause is listed as accidental overdose involving cough syrup, combined with complications from sleep apnea. But despite that, debates and theories continue to spread online. But here's where things really start to feel off, because a lot of detail just won't line up with the official story. First, people pointed out that the hotel camera supposedly stopped working that same day, which immediately raised eyebrows. It's one of those situations that makes people question how cameras always seem to fail at the most convenient times. Then things got even more tense. DJ Paul from Rick Mafia spoke on what he heard from his manager, Rick Martin. According to Martin, he's actually at the scene and saw everything firsthand, and what he described didn't match the official explanation at all. Martin claimed the hotel room looked completely torn up, like there was serious damage all over the place. He even suggested it looked like there were marks that didn't make sense for an accidental situation. That alone had people staying out lines up with the report that was given to the public, and it did stop there, because Martin also described how Pimp C's body was positioned in a way that shocked people. He said it looked like he was placed in a kneeling position, almost like he was praying, with candles around him that had burned all the way down, which only added to the mystery. He explained like this, saying he was lying down like he was praying, but at the same time there were signs of serious injury, and blood was present, which made the whole scene confusing and hard to explain. The candles being fully burned made it seem like he had been there for a while. He's owned like the tall candles he slept. That detail about the position has made a lot of people speculate, wondering if it meant to send some kind of message, especially since Pimp C was known for being outspoken and not backing down. People online have taken that and started building their own theories around what it could mean. Some have even tried to connect symbolism to artists like Jay-Z and Beyonce, pointing to how they present themselves publicly, but it's important to note that these are interpretations, not confirmed facts. Still, the conversation keeps growing as more voices jump in with their own opinions. Jaguar Wright also added fuel to the situation by directly accusing Jay-Z of being connected to Pimp C's death, along with making other serious claims about the industry. None of those accusations have been proven. They definitely kept the spotlight on this story and pushed even more people to question what really happened.
He lined up D. Hayden, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life identity, and took his love. I'm saying, John Carter, you're a piece of shit. Take Pimp C, was bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all the balls from every gangster in Houston.
Even people closest to Pimp C weren't fully convinced by the official explanation, and that alone says a lot. The family starts questioning what really happened, it keeps the conversation alive and makes people look at the situation differently. According to journalist Julie Beverly, who wrote Pimp C's biography, his own mother strongly believed her son didn't pass away by accident. She was convinced son was responsible for taking his life, and that belief had only added more weight to all the theories still circulating today.
His mom believes he was murdered, and she breaks down reasons why she believes that. But a lot of people heard that he died of an overdose, was not true at all. That was actually, the day he passed, or the day that the results of testing were not announced. The coroner said, he did not overdose. And they had all the newspapers that said they did overdose. So there's actually a person of interest, according to his mother, that he believed had something to do with that. So I wasn't able to really definitively come to a conclusion, but I laid out all the facts.
At the end of the day, there's still no solid proof that Pimp C ever had a copy of any rumor tape involving Jay-Z and Beyonce, or the end tape like that even exists. There's also no confirmed evidence linking Jay-Z to Pimp C's passing, and that part needs to be clear no matter how wild the theory gets. But that hasn't stopped fans from holding on tight to their suspicions. A lot of people are convinced there's something deep going on. They keep pointing to small details that feel don't add up. One even questioned Beyonce had performed for years, never brings up that track with Bun B, saying it feels intentional and worth looking at. Others get even further, throwing out heavy claims and trying to connect timelines and events in their own way. You've got people saying things like Jay-Z sacrificed Pimp C, even though there's no proof behind that, showing just how far some of these theories have gone. Then you look at everything stacked together, and you can see why the conversation keeps growing. Maze staying quiet, saying he's saving it for a documentary, has people locked in, wondering what he might reveal. Add in the rumors about what Diddy allegedly shared, the questions around that supposed tape, and different versions of who was even in it. And it just keeps building. On top of that, point to the timeline, date of Pimp C's death, the fight with Jay-Z's birthday, the reports about the hotel cameras, and tips from those who are close to the situation. Even his own mother believed it wasn't an accident, which keeps emotions and questions running high. Still, it's important to separate confirmed facts from speculation, because right now, a lot of this remains unproven based on what people believe rather than what's been verified. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think was really going on behind all this? Do you think there's more to the story, or is this just rumor getting out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want more breakdowns.
The devil in God's country. That's what's who. It's, rap.
People are curious how a guy, you sold how many?
20 million.
And made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. I think everyone watching knows how I live there.
I don't know if they do.
I'm pretty sure they do.
All of the Epstein file. Uncle Luke had Jay-Z on touch, and he had a girl out there freaking off while he was watching and everything. She could take it out.
Conspiracy against me, because in the absence of the truth, bullshit will prevail.
He tried to warn us. Him speaking out getting issue a long time ago. Check this out.
DMX is warning about Jay-Z. It's hitting different now. For years, DMX made it clear he didn't trust that man, not even little. And with everything surfacing lately, it feels like he saw through the shine, the power moves, and polished image way before anyone else did. While headlines stayed locked on DMX's legal battles, most people ignored the deep message he kept slipping in between their songs. He wasn't venting. He was talking about the music industry like it was something dark, something calculated. When DMX spoke about meeting the devil, he wasn't joking around or being poetic. He meant it literally. He believed something evil stepped into his life, offering deals in exchange for his soul, and he didn't hold back when named names. From Jay-Z to high-level executive pulling strings behind the curtain, DMX pointed at power structure and said it was bigger than rap. Now, with newly released files make rounds, people are rethinking those old interviews. Jay-Z's name shows up twice in connection to serious cadence. That alone has folks raising eyebrows. There's an FBI intake report that Pierce mentioned Jay alongside Harvey Weinstein and Epstein. Then there's the email from former Barley CEO Gisele, where he told Epstein that wealth elites didn't have to worry about black protesters because they had been bought by Jay-Z. That's two separate references on Jay-Z's named power circle that operate behind closed doors. DMX spent years warning about hidden industry keepers who control careers like Jesse's. Notice this, when he started being more open about how the system worked, his radio presence faded fast. 1 minute, he was ringing the charts, next minute, he was barely getting spins. Then he blended his personal struggles, but the timing raised questions. Every comeback attempt seemed to hit a wall at the exact moment he got too outspoken. And then, just when he was clean, focused, and back to the studio making new music, he was suddenly gone. Official reports said it was overdose, but a lot of people still question that story. This pattern feels familiar. Artists who speak out, especially about spiritual truths or shady business practices, often seem to get pushed aside or race. DMX was scared to talk about God, devil, or what he believes is a dark agenda side industry that both made him a problem power people.
Curious how a guy, you sold how many?
20 million.
And make millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
How did you?
I think everyone who's watching knows how I end up here.
I don't know if they do.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Back in 2007, DMX performed The Industry on HBO's Def Poetry Jam. That wasn't just poetry, it was a warning shot. On the stage, he broke down how artists manipulate, pressured, and pushed to compromise who they are just to stay in the game. He wasn't whispering either. He said it with his chest.
I'm saying that it basically reflects on my relationship with the industry. This is what it is. Often, my work's full on deaf ears. Because listen, but don't hear. Oh, nigga, you right here. Feel like you on. Yeah. Thank you.
He went deep in contrast to label. DMX talked about a spiritual war happening behind the scenes of entertainment. In interviews and in his music, he made it clear the darkness wasn't just about money or fame. He believed the devil was real. He claimed certain people in business would tap into energy, doing rituals, chasing power to stay famous and stay young, and guide artists down the same road. That heavy stuff.
Whenever I went to something, boy, close to God. And I stayed in something. So now I'm close to God. But be closer to his heart. Attack is stronger. Come, but you're the right any less song. Just go with that. Joy, pain, dark, light, sun, pain. Don't expect to get something game. Look the good and the bad. Not something bad.
X said he refused. When he turned it down, he began warning others about what he saw as the devil move through the industry. After that, the shift. In September 2013, DMX appeared on the Dr. Phil show. He opened up about his life, legal issues, money problems, and personal struggles, but also talked about spiritual battles and hidden layers in the industry. Dr. Phil brought up one of his lyrics, "Mow the grass to see the snakes," and that sparked a deeper conversation about DMX's faith. X explained every album he created included a conversation with God. For him, music wasn't just entertainment, it was fight between light and darkness, playing in real time.
I want to take a look at some of the lyrics from your song,
I like the lyrics.
Who We Be. I think you like these lyrics. The hurt, the pain, dirt, rain. The jerk, the fame, word, the game.
I like these. Yeah.
The friends, the foes, the bins, the hoes. These studios, shows, why don't you just read it?
Studio shows comes and goes. Jesse, envy, the phony, friendly. When they gave someone to put in me, snakes to grab. Too long to see. Mom was sitting by accident.
Then Dr. Phil asked him straight up about the 3 times he said he ran into the devil. DMX didn't dodge it. He said, "You really want to understand this world, you have to see both sides."
It's what that is, black pastor,
So you write, I mean, that's, you write all your songs.
Because I'm an artist in it.
You had, yes, I would call it gospel song or certain. On every album. Lord, give me a sign. I pull some of those lyrics out.
He explained the devil doesn't show up looking evil. They often look good, the promises sound sweet, but there's always price hiding in the fine print.
Tell me what these lyrics are. What they mean.
That's a conversation, but then talk to you last time we talked was hard. But I know you left me, but feel like I'm on. I'm big right now, but I'm still like home. Still going through it. Pain and hurt. So I'm like pain and dirt. And I don't want to stop the pain, but just save it. Remember Jesus. Before I go through it, I'm making it I used to all that stuff right here. On the Lord, I have no fear. I know no pain from light to the dark. I know no shame. Fit it right from the heart. Just right to start you down. Nothing they tell me now. Lord, give me a sign.
And this wasn't a one-time story.
You've had a song on every album, Conversation with God. You've had
and a prayer.
And a prayer. I think you've had three conversations with the devil. Why with the devil?
Well, to make fair sense, they have to be aware of both sides. And I would approach, of course, I doesn't mean I roll with him. Sure. I just be able to recognize by what he said. That's why I stopped talking about it. He don't agree.
In a 2009 interview from jail in Arizona, DMX said he met the devil in what he called God country. At first, Arizona felt peaceful. The sunrise looked spiritual, almost healing. But then something shifted. He described experiencing something that deeply disturbed him. He connected that place to a spiritual battle and said he would never go back there again. Now here's the question. Was he seeking a metaphor, or did he believe it was a real confrontation? DMX constantly spoke against powerful executives and artists he felt were chasing fame at any cost. But when he entered Arizona, some people wondered what happened there. Did someone approach him with a deal, a warning, pressure, flying? Those are questions people still debate. Arizona has a reputation for wide open land, privacy, and extreme isolation. Just across the border in New Mexico, Epstein's Zorro Ranch, located that has raised many public questions over the years. The stories connected to that place have made headlines and sparked intense discussion. That alone adds another layer people can't ignore. The Southwest is also known for older private rehab centers. Some are praised for helping people rebuild their lives. Others have faced criticism of strict control, heavy medication, and isolation tactics. DMX went through rehab in that region multiple times. So people ask, was it just treatment, or did he feel pressure to stay quiet? After Arizona, after what he described as encounter with the devil, his tone seemed even more intense. He said he would never go back. That long time you ever happened in Arizona to court. It wasn't just a bad memory. He clearly left a mark on and kept it in mind. People being criticized weren't small players. He pointed at big power figures, the ones people believe who think behind closed doors, including Jay-Z. In 2004, Jay-Z became president of Def Jam. At that point, DMX had already dropped 5 straight #1 albums. He was unstoppable. But once Jay stepped in that position, DMX claimed his 6th album, Year the Dog, again, and get pushed it deserved, he held it was blocked. Why would that happen? Some believe Jay wanted a clear path. Competition be the near throne. That's when DMX reportedly started seeing things differently. He felt Jay would do whatever it took to stay on top, even if it meant stepping over someone who once stood beside it. The realization he hard, and soon after X walked away from the gym. But this thrust didn't stop at level politics. DMX also questioned the company Jay kept behind the scenes. Both men changed hip-hop forever, no doubt about that, but they moved in totally different ways. DMX constantly spoke about labels controlling artists, presenting these that looked good on paper became heavy strings attached. He warned about contracts that trap people.
Negotiations with industry. What's going on with industry? Is full of disc and riding, but then with a desk ass next show. Whoever don't get break, bring it. I don't give a fuck. Bring it.
It's full of homo hate ass nigga. I mean, it's like they this new breed rapper that's paying DJ play this shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? They sucking the like says that there's too much that going on. Right. Said me the artist that I am is put my motherfucking music. You know what I mean? Exactly. They put you all part of this. You know, go down women shake that and all that fish out there like low, give them money. That's it.
DMX rejected what he saw as the darker side of the business. Jay was rising within the system. From early on, he was welcome in powerful rooms, getting influence, given a voice at executive tables. To some, that looked like success. To others, it raised eyebrows. Two legends who passed a divide that only grew deep over time. But really widened the gap between DMX and Jay-Z. What justice? It was belief. DMX moved off faith, on emotion, and what he felt was a high calling. They moved like a strategist, calm, calculated, always 10 steps ahead. To X, different from everything. He saw the industry as a spiritual battlefield, while others saw it as a power game to master. As Jay-Z's influence kept growing, partnerships expanded, billion-dollar deals rolled in, and corporate alliances stacked up. From fashion to sports agencies to luxury brands, Jay came to the elevation in hip-hop. But Chris have put out that riding high usually means working closely with powerful institutions. For DMX, the closest to elite circles may have looked like compromise. He often warned that when artists get too comfortable with executives and global power players, independent things fast. There were also whispers about how artists were treated behind closed doors. DMX spoke openly of contracts that brought people in, about creative control being stripped away. He believed many artists didn't even realize what they were signing until it was too late. Meanwhile, they would praise for mastering those same contracts and eventually become the one offering them. That contrast created tension people couldn't ignore. Still, it's important to remember that much of this lies in interpretation. DMX shared his truth as he saw it. Jay-Z has built a legacy many admire, but the clash between a man who believed he was fighting spiritual darkness and a man who thrived inside corporate power structures will always spark a beat. Two icons, two vision, and a story that keeps getting louder as time passes. There's been a lot of speculation that power became the priority above everything else, even above loyalty. Some people believe that when the stake get that high, friendship turned into strategy. And that's where many say the real divide between DMX and Jay showed up. So was DMX trying to warn us when he talked about run-ins with the devil? Was he hinting at specific individuals, specific circle? He constantly spoke about hidden network and powerful figures moving in silence. Now Jay-Z's name had appeared in widely discussed documents connected to Epstein's investigation. Even if only references, people are connecting dots and asking questions. Are those connections meaningful or just coincidence? That's the debate. We may never get the full story, but one thing stands out. DMX believed he saw darkness operating behind fame and fortune, and he wasn't afraid to speak on it. Years later, those warnings hit different. His words feel heavier now. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think DMX was specifically talking about Jay-Z, or was he speaking more broadly about the system and powerful networks in general? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure you like, subscribe, share this video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.
JD, what you doing? What you doing? So what Ho has recently changed his name on all the streaming platform to JD 2 dots.
I say it from my heart. I take bench. I didn't get hit by taking bench people. I take it. No one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do.
I'm looking these days, you know, she's looking good up there. And number 2, he's running with my number. She dog got my
So JD switched his name up again, and yeah, his PR team is out here saying it's all about celebrating 30 years of reasonable doubt. But people are not buying that story at all. And Mace definitely is either. To him, it isn't some celebration. It's everything finally crashed down, just like been called out for years. Mace is basically looking at the whole situation like, I told you so. For 2 decades, he's been talking, and now it's all playing out in real time, right in front of everybody. Jay-Z has been getting heat from all sides lately. Epstein files rumors, the Harvey Weinstein connection, even that GQ interview that came off so off-key, it had fans turning on it. And now, out of nowhere, there's a name change in the mix. That's got people raising eyebrows fast. Mace is standing on it, warning Jay, saying his moment's coming. And from the way things are unfolding, it's starting to look real loud.
You believe what you want to believe, or people behave the way they want to behave. That's who you got here. It's the makeup of your person.
So first, let's break down why this even matters to Mace, because this isn't random at all. It's actually real simple when you look at it. Mace was one of the first in hip-hop called Jay-Z out for exactly what people are questioning today. Everything Jay-Z is dealing with now, Mace was already talking about it nearly 20 years ago, and that's still extra valid right now. Take it back in 1997. Mace was running game at that point. Harlem World went 4-time platinum. He had chart-topping record, the whole bad boy wave pushing him heavy. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was still trying to find his footing with reasonable doubt, struggling to even hit gold status at the time. That's when Mace fired his first shot on Love Me. He came direct, basically saying, oh, we hear platinum this, platinum that. Nobody got a platinum hit. He was calling Jay out for talking big about numbers to match it, and people definitely caught that energy. But it didn't stop the music. It got more personal too. There was another layer to the situation, and her name was Arian. She showed up in a Harlem World where Mace mixes up his girlfriend names, but in real life, Arian had ties to Jay-Z. It didn't sit right with Jay at all, and that just added more heat to already brewing situation.
That was a song, young lady named Ariana that put in a skit, and it was done really harmlessly. At the time I was 19 years old, I was just trying to create a vibe and show people what Harlem was like from a real Harlem perspective. And it's just she wanted to do it. I had to do it at the time. I didn't know she would one hit guy's baby mom or something like that.
So I made check Jay on that track with 112. Jay-Z did stay quiet. He came right back on Ride or Die with a slick line, telling Mace to check your own videos. You always be number 2. That line wasn't random at all. It was a direct shot at Mace standing behind Diddy in the Can't Nobody Hold Me Down video, rocking that number 2 jersey while Puff had the number 1 spot. They would basically sing a message, and Mace would always play background, never the main role. That alone had people talking, but the deeper layer, both Eve brought up. According to Dipset's 40 Hell, he did just stay in Wax either. He claimed Jay-Z actually pulled up on Mace in Harlem, trying to stay in face and show who he had trolled.
About 20 minutes later, Jay-Z pulls up in the 4.6 range he always talked about. He hops out. I'm me said, yeah, all that cool, but who are you talking about on that song when you like check on video? No, the day was like, everybody knows about you.
Now fast forward to 1999, and this is where things took a wild turn. He stepped away from the industry right at his peak, which shocked everybody watching. Were claims that Diddy tried to pull him into situations he wasn't comfortable with. That moment changed everything for him. He was so shaken by what he experienced, and the names he says were involved, that he completely switched paths. He turned to faith, became pastor, and walked away from the spotlight, the whole system that once made him a star. Meanwhile, Jay-Z stayed in that world, kept a close relationship with Diddy for years. Now look at how things are lined up in 2026. Diddy is locked up, Jay-Z's name is being mentioned in major discussions, and suddenly there's a name change in the middle of all this. People started noticing it quick. If you search Jay on Apple Music, Tidal, or even YouTube, something looked different. The why now has 2 dots over it. His team is saying it's just tribute to reasonable doubt turning 30, but not everyone is convinced. A lot of people online are comparing this move to what Diddy used to do. Switch name during different moments in his career. From Puff Daddy to P. Diddy to Diddy Moore, every shift had people talking. And now Jay-Z is raising the same kind of questions. One fan even said, I was trying to make yourself hard to Google. That comment spread fast, because at the end of the day, people are looking past the name and focusing on the big picture. You can switch names all you want, but your past doesn't just disappear. And right now, all eyes are locked in on Jay-Z. Jay-Z's name didn't just come up in those files, it showed up twice, and that's why people are paying close attention. First man came from an FBI intake where one claims you woke up in a room with Harvey Weinstein, Jay-Z alone, people raising serious questions, but that's only part of the story. Here's where it gets even deeper, and this is part a lot of mainstream coverage barely touches. There was another document tied to the file, an email from former Barclays CEO Jeff Staley to Epstein, dated February 3rd, 2014. In that email, Staley was talking about anti-corruption protests happening in Brazil, and he made a bold claim that something like that would happen in the U.S. Why? Because according to him, certain communities had been influenced through celebrity culture, and he specifically mentioned Jay-Z in that context. The email even said, you want to know why we are not Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. Then it goes on about hip blacks and hip cars with white women, painting this picture of how advertising is used to shape perception and keep people distracted. So it's really interesting here. The idea is that big media and marketing push certain images to make everything look smooth and successful, even when deeper issues are still there. And in that conversation, Jay-Z name gets brought up as part of that influence, which is why people are connecting dots right now. And this is where some critics start tying in later event too. People still remember how things played out with Colin Kaepernick. After he took a knee and faced a major backlash from the NFL, Jay-Z later partnered with the league as part of social justice initiative. That move had mixed reactions, especially when Jay-Z said, we're past kneeling, let's move on. That line stuck people. And now, all these older emails and claims resurfacing, adding more layers that some are turning role in bigger systems.
Okay, I think we passed kneeling. Yeah, I think it's time to go into actionable items. I think everyone knows what the issue is. We're done with that. Everyone knows that you know what the issue is? You know why we're kneeling? Okay, you know the issue? Yeah, you know the issue? Yes, we all know the issue now.
Then, fast forward to September 2025, and this moment, it blew heavy. Jay-Z and Beyonce was sitting at the same table as Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner at a foreign alliance event. And here's the key detail. This is Jay-Z's own organization, which means he wasn't random at all. He could have sat anywhere, with anyone, but he chose that table. That decision had people asking real questions. I sit down with Trump's daughter, son-in-law, everything's normal. For a lot of critics, the answer's simple. It's about power and class. Once you reach that billionaire level, the rules change and alliances start looking different. The argument people are making is that Jay-Z had more in common with elite circle than with every people watching this unfold. The image of being the voice of the streets starts to look different, more like this model. Jay-Z's always positioned himself as someone who can move between 2 worlds, the culture and the corporate side. But now people question who really benefits from that position. When movement happens, some feel like his message leans towards staying within the system instead of pushing against it. You saw the conversation come up again around made protests and social movement, and it's being brought back now with everything resurfacing. Critics are saying he steps in during key moments and shifts the energy toward patience, process, and working inside established structures. And then there's that GQ interview, which added even more fuel to the conversation. People noticed right away. It felt soft, like tough questions were missing. The interview did bring up Diddy, didn't didn't press no files and kept things surface level the whole time? Jay-Z briefly mentioned that lawsuit that got dismissed and called it heartbreaking, but people also understood what wasn't said. There was no deep discussion about his long-standing connection with Diddy, and no acknowledgement of others involved in those wider conversations, which only made critics look closer at the whole situation.
Really hard. I was like heartbroken. I've been that angry in a long time. Uncontrollable anger. Like, you don't put that on someone. Like, that's something that you better be super sure. It's like a testament because people know me. Like, I know who you are, and that's impossible.
And here's another detail that caught people off guard. The lawyer who handled that lawsuit for Jay-Z, Alex Spira, was also mentioned in those same files, which only made the situation look even more complicated. Then during that interview with Topic to criticism of billionaire, Jay didn't hold back. He said it's a cop-out demonizing rich people, brushing off backlash completely. And on top of that, he made it clear he believes he's never taken advantage of anyone, despite all the conversations happening around him.
I didn't take advantage. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people. I didn't get no one. No one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people or taking advantage of, loopholes in the system or some wrinkle in a capital structure. That structure exists. And I just see the world with it. It's not what I want to be. I'm realist, not an ideal. It's not idealist.
And then he jumped to the Kendrick versus Drake situation with take that had people side-eyeing him. He said the whole beat went too far, like he was calling things to cool down. Come in, disrespect with everyone, especially with everything else going on around him. And it only added more reactions to his name.
So much negative stuff that comes with it, it also shouldn't happen. Really? Yeah, because it's almost like the final thing. Now, people that can hate Drake, no matter what he makes, no matter what he says, and it goes far too, like take on his character and his thing. It's like, I don't know if I...
But wait a second, this is where people really started calling things out. Didn't Jay-Z personally choose Kendrick to headline Super Bowl, knowing he had the track aimed at Drake, calling him a file in PDF format? Now suddenly he's saying things got negative. That switch up had people looking at him sideways. But the part that really made people uncomfortable came later in the interview. Jay started talking about being untouchable, tying it back to his Hoff nickname, which comes from Jehovah, a name God in the Bible. And that didn't sit right with a lot of listeners at all.
What? Oh, Jay-Z.
I'm not even sure who told Jay-Z that interview was a good idea, because it didn't help his image at all. It made everything worse. The way Hall had people talking crazy online, calling him arrogant, out of touch, and not in sync with reality. Social media wasted no time reacting either. A lot of people are saying they're no longer buying into that polished black excellent image he's been pushing for years. One user on X stood up for saying Jay-Z tried to sell black elements and personal well as if it benefits everyone. And the message didn't land what it used to. That same post went even deeper, claiming his whole brand lined up with ideas he supposedly thinks in. The argument is that his message about success sounds a lot like that. Pull yourself up and take on your own mindset, which some people feel ignores big systemic issues. Critics are now questioning what winning really meant in his world. To them, it looks like success was always tied to moving closer to elite circles. And that's why some are netting his image of wealth and power more than culture. And when you line all that up with how he sounded in that GQ interview in 2026, a lot of people are saying it feels like a major disconnect. Like cultural icon who spoke for people but now sounds removed from them completely. But now I want to hear from you. What did you think about the interview? How do you feel about the name change? Do you think all of this timing is just coincidence? Or is there more going on behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video, and stay locked in for what's coming next.
Beyonce could get pregnant. Unnaturally, not normally. What I do know is this. When Beyonce got on that stage with that fake baby bump, you don't have Beyonce nothing. She's just light-skinned. I always thought it was kind of weird how she did resemble Jay-Z to a certain extent. No, that girl started looking like eyes, cheekbones, jawline, this felt southern. See, I know. You know what happened to Corey?
Jay-Z is looking real uneasy right now. After 50 Cent dropped hints out the identity connected to the child Kathy White was reportedly carrying before her mysterious death, the internet went wild. Word on the street says 50 is planning to break everything down in full detail during the second part of this documentary coming next year, and people are already bracing themselves. For a while now, fingers have been pointing straight at Jay-Z. The rumor claiming was somehow tied Kathy's death. Reports floating around online say that when her body was found, there were shocking irregularities that raised serious questions. People online called it dark, disturbing, and beyond unsettling, and details being discussed only made it sound even more twisted. Before 50 Cent brought all this back into the spotlight, the story was already resurfacing because of a troubling tweet from well-known journalist Liz Crow. This happened around the time being first arrested, and her words instantly caught attention. But even before that, Liz tweeted back 2017 hinting that Jay may have been involved in what happened to Kathy. She wrote, "When Kanye West says Jay-Z has life figures, I believe he's talking about people who took out Kathy White." That tweet sat unnoticed for years. Now here's the wild part. Liz shared that message back in 2017, long before anyone was publicly accusing Jay of anything like this. After chaos surrounding D, he resurfaced the tweet and added double quotes, leaving everyone shocked and demanding answers. First off, no date, because this part matters a lot. One tweet lit the internet afire when Liz Hogan directly called out Jay-Z in a way that had everyone stunned. She wrote, "Hey Jay-Z, I was a reporter who took your alleged mistress right before she died / was bleeding. I know everything. I know what you did. Go F yourself. Your time's coming. Maybe you and Diddy can share a prison cell. Justice is coming." She didn't stop there either, adding, "It's only a matter of time for a beer cook." That alone had people shook. Then she went even further, saying Jay-Z was being exposed just like Diddy. She referenced Kanye's past comments and claimed there's a reason Kanye said Jay got murdered. I would know. He's evil to the core. I pray there will be justice Kathy White one day. False idols will continue to fall. Mark my words. Those tweets grabbed everyone's attention fast and sent people digging deep. After that, the internet went into full detective mode, trying to piece together what really happened to Kathy around the time of her death. According to official records, her autopsy ruled the cause as a brain aneurysm. However, for years now, speculation has been floating around online that powerful people may have influenced the report to prevent further scrutiny. None of this has been proven. The rumors spread like wildfire. Things escalated when a blogger, Hollywood Street King, first reported on the alleged affair, launched a private investigation to uncover more details about Kathy's death. He shared findings, he was allegedly pressured to take the article down. Still, screenshots already been saved and started circulating everywhere online. Those images made their way across social media fast. People kept reposting it nonstop. The article reportedly began with, "Yesterday, I got the news that Kathy Michelle White some last way." And just like that, controversy split all over again. So I quickly began my investigation, and guess what? Kathy did not die from brain aneurysm. The internet pushed it. This was reported after NYE detectives allegedly revealed that Kathy's cause of death was still uncertain at the time. According to that source, the case was already being treated as suspicious, and they were waiting on both autopsy and toxicology reports to get clear answers. Here's where it gets even crazier. Kathy White passed away exactly 1 year to the day after the story about her alleged affair with Jay-Z. First, 911 call reportedly came in from an apartment at 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Paramedics arrived, found Kathy unwell, and rushed her to Bethesda Hospital, where he later passed away. At that point, it was way too early to lock the brain aneurysm as the official cause. An autopsy was scheduled to determine what really happened, along with toxicology tests in case something harmful involved. Those results were expected to take about 2 weeks, leaving a lot of unanswered questions hanging in the air. Things getting more intense when you look at what happened shortly before her death. About 2 weeks earlier, Kathy had been contacted by a major tabloid digging into her alleged connection with Jay-Z. She reportedly didn't give them much, but one source claimed that after that call, she reached out to Jay directly and told him he planned to go public with the affair for a price. All of this unfolded within the same short time window. Then, just over 48 hours after news broke Beyonce was pregnant with Jay's child, Kathy suddenly, under circumstances, pulled a line and immediately started crashing. The article also mentioned photos showing Claudia Jordan and Kathy partying with Jay at a club months before Kathy's death. Apparently, Kathy and Claudia were close friends, and it was Claudia who allegedly introduced Kathy to Jay in the first place. Because of alleged threats, Hollywood Street King claimed he couldn't continue pushing the investigation and was forced to drop it entirely, leaving the story unfinished and the mystery even deeper. But then Jaguar Wright stepped in and picked up right where the story was left, dragging his whole situation straight into chaos. She publicly claimed that Kathy didn't pass away from a brain aneurysm at all, but instead alleged that something far more sinister happened inside private residence. Jaguar went as far as accusing Jay-Z and Beyonce of being involved, claiming Bella played a role because of Kathy's alleged relationship with Jay.
Taking a fairly. She actually died for him, and Carter's are responsible. Well, one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. The question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think, and be checking up to protect the brand seat? I mean, simply.
And Jaguar didn't stop there at all. She made explosive allegations saying Beyonce supposedly wasn't pregnant at the time, and claimed the situation around Kathy's pregnancy raised serious questions. Claims spread fast online, even though none of them had been proven, and they immediately shocked a lot of people. Jaguar also alleged that there was damaging evidence in circulation, claiming that Dick supposedly possessed footage connected to Kathy's final days. Again, these dates were presented as allegations, but they put gasoline on an already raised fire.
So that what you say?
What is Corey? I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z,
Jay-Z's
mistress,
yeah.
who died of an imaginary aneurysm. Just like one who's best friends with him, and he wrote a book, Bling, and died as soon as it made bestsellers list.
But the rumors piling up. Some people online even speculated that Beyonce's son daughter was a confession explaining how and why Kathy died. That theory took fast, with this dissecting and drawing their own conclusions, though there's no proof backing it up. Of course, those theories spread. People brought the infamous inflated pregnancy moment. This having a televised interview when Beyonce appeared to sit down and her bump visible shift on camera. That same moment fueled years of speculation, critics claiming it unnatural. Supporters pushed back, saying camera angles, clothing, and movement can easily create misleading visuals. Still, that clip never stopped circulating on, and people continue based on.
But this goes to some, even caught by surprise. Here's again, slow down. As Beyonce's down Molly Meldrum, her dress holds.
A surrogate, but she'd want a body with stress.
We were claimed her cat story to one of the most talked about controversial mysteries of celebrity culture, and the internet refuses to let go. And when people the story get in order, the internet into full meltdown again. Bloggers, live streamers, and comments were flooded with theories, timelines, and side-by-side clips, all trying to connect dots surrounding Kathy White's death. Old view, lyric, and photos suddenly became evidence in court of public opinion. What pushed this situation into a drive was how many people claimed the line simply didn't right. Online sleuths started lining up dates, public appearances, and announcements. A sequence of events raised serious questions. Nothing was proven, but the dirt exploded anyway. Rumor moved faster than fact. At the same time, supporters of Jay-Z and Beyonce fired hard, called the claims reckless, misleading, and straight dangerous. Many pointed out that speculation can spy out of control and hurt real people, especially when there's no verified proof behind the accusations. Still, that didn't stop the street talking. Cast YouTube channel revisiting Kathy's name, repeating the same question over and over. Why does this story keep resurfacing every few years? Why does it always get louder instead of fade away? Others, the silent certain industry insiders only means look stranger. People ask why clear, detailed explanation ever the rumor down for good. Every unanswered question just adds more heat to the situation. One thing is clear though, Kathy White's name be permanently tied to one of the most controversial mysteries online. Whether rumors, truths, or wild speculation, her story refuses to disappear. As long as old clip resurfacing and new voices chiming in, this messy stays live, louder than ever, with still demand answers that may come. Now when it comes to dissent, stayed quietly about Kathy. But we're on the streets. Jay-Z is expected to come up in the upcoming documentary. 50 has already the project is dropping this year. Supposed to include information nobody's ever heard before, along with alleged receipts tied to Jay-Z and Kathy. According to online chatter, these so-called receipts are being hyped as exclusive enough to raise serious questions of the original investigation. Some people are even they pressure authorities to take a look at the case, though nothing that has been confirmed. Then there's the real spinning and troll again. Based on what Jag Wright named, some internet users speculating about the identity of Kathy's child. The speculation dragged Ivy's name into the conversation, even though there's no proof back that theory at all.
And I know the way you went, this could be all you have. Is there other stuff you just have not shown?
Yeah, well, everything couldn't. It only was episodes.
Right.
So it was a lot to pick and choose. It's like in like the area where he uses the people who he obviously did someone. He had a baby by when there was Tupac.
Wow.
But we had it down. So it's
Okay. Coming out next is number 2. Season 2.
It's for 2.
I just put a 2. Well, we can subscribe. Get it.
As expected, people online had plenty to say. One concert claimed that girl got the shape, cat, full head, and jawline. She doesn't look anything like Beyonce. They want to believe that. Another person wrote, have you heard the lyrics of that song, Daughter by Beyonce? Definitely a confession. She 100% talking about Kathy. These are opinions, not facts. They spread facts. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the rumors surrounding Jay-Z and Kathy's death? Do you believe the internet's reaching, or do you think there are still unanswered questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so others can weigh in too.
You know, what is he gonna say on this beat? He didn't like to be in the end. It was just like, hey, Jig, man, I think
It knows the fuck out of me that they say Shad died of drunk, because it's not how he died. You can't die from sleep apnea and die from late morning.
Pimp C died in 2007. And why haven't we got Pimp C documentary? Because there was a lot of strange details surrounding Pimp C. He was notorious for on these radio stations and being whistleblower about the industry.
Some made up in there that didn't with the people sitting off her.
So Jay-Z just spoke about working with Pimp C and Big Pimpin', and he made it seem like they had a solid relationship. He painted the whole situation as respectful, saying it was mostly love between them, even if they had a few creative disagreements along the way.
Like to be in the end. It was just like, hey, Jig, man, that seemed too fruity, man. Like, he thought he was making like the biggest commercial, like, sellout record. And he took some he still did some. We actually really
So here we go again with Jay-Z telling the story from his side, because a lot of people remember things very differently. There have been public reports over the years suggesting that he and Pimp C were never especially close, and we'll get into that in a second. This is what catches people's attention. Some critics have made similar claims before. After DMX passed away, some people felt Jay-Z described their relationship in a much more positive way than what had been said publicly in the past. DMX had only accused Jay of getting in the way of his album release, while others argue their relationship was far more complicated than Pimp content. Then, after DMX's passing, some fans felt Jay's comments painted them as being in much better terms than they remembered. Now, some people believe a similar situation is happening with Pimp C, but this time Pimp's family and people close to him have publicly pushed back. They said Pimp C wasn't a fan of Jay-Z, and some have claimed he may have known fame that could cause major problems if it had ever come out. Pimp C's wife, Chinara, had publicly said she does not believe he died from lean overdose as visually reported, and Pimp C's mother has also publicly stated that she believes her son was poisoned. So what really happened to Pimp C, and why so many people disagree about the story surrounding his relationship with Jay-Z? Let's get into it.
Don't be from us and act like straight B, and you get over here and let me up you back. Cause you know, it come to that.
Chad Butler, better known as Pimp C, passed away nearly 20 years ago. People are still debating exactly what happened on December 4th, when he was found dead in his room at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood. Day also happened to be Jay-Z's birthday, a detail that has often been pointed out by fans. The official ruling is that Pimp C died from the combined effects of prescription cough syrup and other medications. According to coroner's findings, his death was ruled accidental. Officials said the combination of promethazine, codeine, and other factors contributed to respiratory depression. Even so, some people have continued to question the case because the complete autopsy report has not been publicly released. Instead, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office issued a public statement saying his death involved the effects of methazine, codeine, along with other contributing factors that were not fully established. Another detail that keeps people talking is what Ed Winter, the assistant chief of the coroner's office at the time, reportedly said. Stated levels of promethazine and codeine found in Pimp C's system were elevated, but not necessarily high enough on their own to explain death. So the debate grows even bigger. Pimp C's wife, Chinara, later publicly said she believed he had stopped using lean and other substances, adding that, to her knowledge, he was not drinking lean on the day he passed away.
Actually, me and Dad used to call that rehab. No, that was our rehab. That really was a rehab. I always looked at it as, yep, rehab. I've been rehabbing a long time. I barely.
Wait, you call smoke rehab?
That's what I was just gonna smoke. It noise got me that they say Shad I drink because it's not how he died.
Now, here's another detail that some people point to when questioning the official timelines around the lean story. Chinara publicly said that Pimp C was scheduled to meet with his probation officer the very next day.
He had to come back first thing in the morning because he took a parole. So I ain't probation of it. Get out of here. Hurry.
After his release from prison in 2005, Pimp C remained on parole until December 2009. Then passed away in December 2007, was still on parole supervision at the time. Because of that, it's reasonable that he may have had regular meetings with his parole officer. Supporters of alternative theories have argued that if he was expecting an important meeting the following morning, it seems less likely that he would have intentionally spent the entire night drinking lean alone in his hotel room. That idea has led to speculation from some people that someone else may have been with Pimp C that night and could have played a role. However, no evidence publicly confirmed those claims. Pimp C's mother, Wesley Ma West Monroe, publicly said she believed her son had been poisoned by someone who was at the Mondrian Hotel that night. She shared the belief with journalist Julia Beverly, who later wrote a biography about Pimp C. During an interview with Hot 107.9, Julia also said Ma remained completely convinced that her son's death was not an accident and believed foul play was involved.
Well, his mom believes he was, and she basically breaks down reasons why she believes that. I couldn't really. There's some circumstantial evidence that make me think that, but a lot of people have heard that he died of codeine overdose, which is not true at all. That was actually, the day he passed or day the results of the test went out, and that's coroner said he did not overdose. And you had all the newspapers that said he did overdose. So that was just irresponsible media came up. His wife, he was in, and there's someone when he passed who was very shady, strange character. So there's actually a person of interest, according to his mother, that she believed had.
But here's where the story takes another unexpected turn. One of the people Pimp C was reportedly supposed to meet while he was in California was DJ Paul of 36 Mafia. Later, DJ Paul said he heard from Pimp's manager, Rick Martin, that the hotel room looked far different than he expected. He also claimed Pimp was found in a praying position with candles nearby, and what he described as red stain on the walls. Rick Martin was the person who identified Pimp C's body, and according to DJ Paul's account, Martin described a shocking scene. DJ Paul called him saying he was lying down praying, but there was blood around when he was shot. They thought he was shot in the head, but they didn't know what the hell happened because there's blood everywhere. They thought he was shot. He was kneeling down like he was praying, and the candles were all way burnt down, so they knew he'd probably been dead for a day or so because he always lit those candles to sleep. Those statements have circulated for years, although they have not been officially confirmed by instigators. Because of stories like that, many fans have questioned whether the official explanation tells the whole story. Some have even shared their own theory about the unusual details surrounding the room, but none of these ideas have been proven. The unanswered questions are a big reason the case continues to spark debate even after all these years. Long before social media came to it today, Pimp C had built a reputation speaking his mind without holding back. He regularly gave outspoken interviews, challenged people in the music business, and made bold claims about what he believed was happening behind the scenes. That reputation made him one of the most talked about voices in hip-hop. Some fans believe his comments put him at odds with several influential figures, including Jay-Z. Jay has since described their relationship as respectful despite creative differences, but others have argued their disagreements went much deeper. Pimp C had publicly criticized Jay-Z on multiple occasions, including over comments involving Tupac, whom Pimp greatly respected. According to UDK's former manager, Dame Dash even offered a large payment to get Pimp to appear on the track. The man claimed Pimp's response was that the money should instead be given to Tupac's mother, showing just how strongly he stood by his beliefs.
That house. Right. I was like, yo, I'm excited. $1 million. This is it. Right for this. Take this. Coffee and then fight. So I come down and you want to tell my friend, he's like, wait a minute, tell Jay-Z that. I was like, yeah. And I need to connect. I was like, he was like, I think that you go to Tupac get to facilitate Tupac. I'm like, man.
I put him on that pot like, he been solid here, Tupac. He went on the mission for.
And while Pimp did eventually agree with Big Pimpin', that didn't necessarily mean he and Jay-Z became close friends. People who were around this situation have described collaboration as business rather than a personal bond. The tension was reportedly real, and Bobby has said it took some serious reverse psychology just to get Pimp C to even consider doing collaboration in the first place. Even after the song became a huge success, Pimp C reportedly wasn't especially impressed. To him, it was simply business, nothing more.
Hated Bump. We have that relationship. And to be honest, I don't think people would have said it to be of equal value to him. So let's just break this bread and be done with it. And to be honest, Pimp and Jay didn't really have a relationship in this. There was a lot of mutual respect.